The anticipation. Waiting in that cold silence that carves the name of terror into the gravestone of many has the boy stolen of his will. Perhaps it's already over. I didn't feel a thing. I should be thankful that at least the end of my life was painless. He thinks, as a ringing flash of steel and a bold, echoing voice rouse him from his musings. He winces, awaiting the end, as strange words that seem to carry on the breeze reverberate with the world around him and call out, as the moment of fear that entranced him is so replaced with an immediate and oppressive heat. He awaits the goblin's grip to tighten, for the iron of his favorite knife to meet his flesh, but as the fingers loosen around his throat in confusion he opens his eyes, finding nothing but a bloody stump of a heinous green arm and a sword thrice the width of his chest buried into the cobbled stone beneath his feet. The charred, armless body of the strange alien creature gnarled in pain, peeling away like so much burnt firewood. As it mixes in with the prized flower that he had once coveted in the lingering breeze, a massive arm reaches out and takes the sword from between the stones, lifting the heft of what must be hundreds of pounds of solid steel as though it were naught but a feather. The boy gazes upwards at the hulking behemoth, and with a toothy white grin and a wink, the man outstretches a hand to the boy and raises him once more to his feet. Welcome, travelers, to the Dragonleaf, the tea house where tales are told. Take a cup and drink that cup, but put some tea in it first, because you don't want to drink porcelain, or metal, or wood, I don't know you. But whatever you drink tea out of, you are welcome here. We don't accept water drinkers, so get that pre-tea out of here. If you like the content, leave a tip in the tip jar and subscribe to our weekly tales. Leave a comment in the suggestion box to tell us how well we did or how well we did not. Thank you for listening. And without further ado, it's time to open up shop. Hello.
Oh my god, pre-tea is the best thing I've ever heard water called.
Thank you. It's just my own personal beliefs. I don't wish to force them on anybody, although we have a very exclusive entrance policy.
So say if you drink tea out of a red Solo cup, don't talk to me. That's like, no.
And I will invalidate that to say all are welcome. I take it back.
There's totally tea in here and not pre-tea.
With that, Damon was replaced.
No.
Immediately.
With Diamond. It's just like you with an eye patch.
This is Damon. He's different. Similar, but different. Everyone is welcome. And thank you all for showing up. Last time, the Deviants arrived a bit off course in their teleportation and found themselves traversing a southern road towards Ironhall, finding several caravans along the way, including one with a sickly and entranced group of individuals who led a relentless charge towards the city. As they continued along the trail, they arrived at the encampment of travelers awaiting outside Ironhall for work and immigration, and meet once with Herod Bree, the de facto leader. Gaining information about a strange illness that has affected a small group of the migrant workers, Herod attempts to get permission for the family to enter into Ironhall, and with one Zarik Gelda, the honor guard of the Lyrian Order. As Zarik promises to return to take the party into the city in the morning, with cold eyes, he turns and leaves the group. And as Herod approaches, we jump back in. Welcome back, everybody.
I think as Harold approaches, I don't know if he's going to anyone in particular, but if he's not, then Vincent will just be like, so I heard you're in charge here. Well, at least you're helping everyone out.
A pleasure to meet you. He reaches a hand out. Herod Bree.
Vi, traveling minstrel and entertainer at times. You hold out his hand and shake it.
Shakes your hand. A pleasure. Minstrel. Very unhonorable trade. It's difficult. I can't. Reaches his hands out and shows you like the calloused, huge hands. And it's just like not dainty enough for such a delicate trade.
You seem like someone we'd want to, keep around for a while. And people have been bothering me about this, so figured you should take it. I'll hand him over the soap.
Oh, thank you. This will come in handy. We might be able to make a wash with this. I appreciate that. He places it in a small satchel at his waist.
No problem. You've already spoken with our lovely Margaret before? Was she, what did you guys speak about? I know she wishes to help, but...
She's a physician, and she's offering
I
aid to the
understand
sickly around the area.
That's all you guys spoke about?
She,
Wondering what we're signed up for, so...
he kind of just gives you what they had previously spoken about. Is there anything in particular you're looking for?
No, I'm just establishing that and seeing what his reaction is to it.
He shares it with you, yeah.
Cool. Is there anything else you guys need around the city? I know, obviously, aid and our assistance in these matters is of importance. But it's a big city. Lots of little things that need to be done.
The majority of people who come into the city, we are treating in the Church of Saloon in the center of the newer district of the city, on the outside of the Iron Wall. That's likely where we'll be housing you as well, while we look into any kind of advancement towards the sickness in the city.
Understand. Well, I hope my demeanor and presence doesn't strike you as unsightly, but I don't come without my own little bag of tricks, so I'll see what I can do to help out when I'm here.
We don't see too many tieflings in the area. A lot of tieflings travel north once they arrive within Amaranth, but you're likely to meet with some ignorance. But please forgive these people. They're simple hard workers, and they're just curious. Jojo, you have your hand raised.
Could Jojo just lean over to Margaret and whisper, "Hey, could you ask about some priestess that arrived here before? Maybe ask, maybe they were sent ahead of you or something like that."
Yeah, I can ask. I'll try and see if I can figure out who's all there.
Thanks.
So are you Wish of Saloon or no?
I'm not necessarily. Not much of a religious man. Within the area, and respectfully, I respect the Altician faith immensely, and all beliefs of the Lady of Light's children. But I just myself am more of a hands-on kind of person, I suppose.
I think
No.
I think we're in the same type of business, and he'll just smile a little bit.
It feels silly to be saying that when just to the north of us, a few thousand miles, is a city filled with gods, but I don't know. Does it define faith anymore, or is it just company?
I find it's easier if you just don't really think about it too often.
We are of one mind, aren't we? He says, I have quite a few people I need to tend to. If there's anything else you all require, please do not hesitate to ask. And he looks towards everybody.
Question. Is there anyone else in the city that has come that offered the same services? I want to know if I'll have a team or if I'm just doing this on my own.
We have a few herbalists currently at work, and we have some promising tinctures that have been somewhat diluted down for testing among the masses, but our healers are overloaded. We had few to begin with.
Has anyone else gone into the city that was a healer?
Not recently.
No? Okay.
Well, not as far as I know, rather.
Okay. Good to know. I just want to make sure I'm aware of who I'll be working with and how much. Although I didn't really like that dude. Don't really want to work with him.
Zarik, he is...
Yes.
The Lyrian Order are outsiders, but they have the coin, and Gerda's been... She believes in them. She seems to trust them, so I trust her, so...
Who's that?
Gerda Stormforge, the Lord Mayor of the city. She's a fine woman. Indeed. Member of the Stormforge family. Took control of the city back from the Valiants not too long ago, actually. She's a fine woman. She's been very fair, open, especially after wartime.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you all for your time, and thank you so much for all of this.
If you're wanting, I can take the night watch. I often have bouts of insomnia, and I don't get very tired, and I know all of you must be exhausted having to look after these sick people, so I can take over.
He smiles and is just like, can't treat yourself. That's the ultimate curse of the physician. Very well. I'll return outside the city gate shortly. You'll find me about. I have a hut in the corner there, but for the most part, it's open. Feel free to take rest there for the night if you don't have any tents. He gives a very militaristic bow and turns and begins to make his way back towards the city gates.
Is it a military bow from a certain area? Like, is it local, or does Jojo
It's
know
not.
that?
From what you are aware, just like in his motions, from your previous history check, you don't. It doesn't seem like. How am I supposed to word this? I'll actually just roll history instead of attempting to be vague. You have advantage from your previous overwhelming success.
History advantage?
Indeed.
He had also mentioned a war.
Are we talking about the war to take back the city from the humans?
Yeah, between the dwarves and the humans. This small group of dwarves and the humans who were here. But from the bow that he gives is that of the military of this city. But not only that, there's an education in his movements, and there's a fluidity in his demeanor that is absent in a lot of the people that you've seen so far. You assume this guy is probably from Valley, which is one of the larger societies of the area. It's like a Dianthian colony. But not only that, he was likely military here against the dwarves and is now working here to help them. This guy seems to have some history about him, basically. But his bow itself, from your group insight as well, states that it almost seems to be something that's just natural to him. Like this guy's been around for a long time.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. And as you all like pack back and we begin to move, Matilda, you find as you attempt to use conventional methods to study and like look at these people, they seem very open. And any attempts that you take or make to try and like figure out the source of what this is met immediately with like just deception. You see that people just shirk away from the idea of just be like, and when did this start? And he's like, I'm not entirely sure. And you can see that they're immediately just like, I don't know.
When I check, the only symptoms they have are weird, dinky little limbs that show up, and like, there's like no fever, there's no cough, you're just like really tired, and your arms and legs start shrinking.
Yeah, incredible exhaustion in the body. They have this kind of like just discoloration to the face. They seem to lose weight, and the extremities seem to almost like age.
Can they eat and drink?
The people here have been actively eating, but they don't have much of an appetite.
Okay.
As everyone's sitting down to rest for the evening, and Matilda's taking over watch, I guess, Vincent will play a nice little soothing melody to wash over the crowd. I hope they get a better rest over it as he triggers his song of rest. But it's not really triggering, it just happens when he plays music while people are resting.
Some people who seem like less worried than others begin to approach, but are quickly pulled back by people who are just like, you've got to wash your hands. Like getting people trying to keep a perimeter away from these sick. But as you're playing the music, it kind of echoes out, and you can see that there is a large amount of people around that are just sitting and listening into this tune that just echoes throughout the night, and the calm begins to spread.
Ooh. 6 extra hit points. To anyone that can hear this performance.
You can also roll performance if you like.
Has it been an hour since Vincent talked to those for dudes at the beginning?
Yeah, absolutely. You're getting quite late into the night now. People are beginning to turn in.
I mean, like, from when we did that to the windmill, talk with Harold, and then he would have sat down and because he wanted to know if Awe was still up.
Depending on what point you cast this, I think. What is the
We've done it.
duration that you need to do?
Pardon?
How long do you? Yeah, like how
This
long
is
do you need to
a
place on rest?
performance. It doesn't give a duration. It just says anyone that can hear your performance gains it.
Sure. Yeah, then totally good. Awe's still up.
Not that good. 16.
16? Awesome. Not that good. I don't know, the people around here seem incredibly satisfied, and with the dulcet tones that are rolling out throughout the evening, you all find a fine rest. Matilda, you remain up.
I have a question. I still want to keep my get a long rest. I might take a short rest after I cast my spell, just so that I'm all primed and ready with spells. But I'm gonna find who's the least sick and who has the least shitty symptoms. That if I remove curse, it's not gonna be oh, they're magically cured, and then that's gonna get a little suspicious. So who's the least sick here?
Who's the least sick? I guess for the most part, there's only really one person that's further along than the rest, and that's the person who you had examined before with the sickness spreading into their chest. Everybody else is around the same, which is fingertips to middle of hand has just begun to go bad.
Okay. And I'll wait until one of them looks the most asleep. That's not the least. That's the least sick and very asleep.
You're waiting until the early night. The vast majority of people have gone away. There's still a lot of people working throughout the night, but in the distance, there's 10% of the people around that there used to be. And as you sidle up next to one of these patients. They're all cloistered together, pretty much all asleep. But as you rouse one, actually, you could leave them asleep as well. Yeah, they all remain asleep then in this instance.
I'm
And
I'm fucking Matilda doesn't like this because consent is important, and you should never cast a spell on someone usually without their consent. But
Fuck that, you're helping them.
Also,
but
Eldritch
fine.
Blast.
I'm just gonna wake you up real quick to Eldritch Blast.
yeah.
I just wanted your willing knowledge that you're about to die. So go ahead and do what you're gonna do. I assume you're trying to hide the spellcasting.
I'm making it look like I'm doing doctor stuff.
I don't think there's any good way to do that. The spell would still go off as normal.
It's verbal somatics. So go ahead and roll a deception check.
I'm still gonna try. I know that it's not gonna do too much, but I'm still actively trying. That's what I mean. In the end, it is what it is. But make it look like, I don't know, maybe doctors in what is it, Ferndale? No, Fairhill. They have a special training. Okay, hold on. What was it again? Deception?
Deception.
Okay. Can I guide myself?
You don't
Yeah,
have
absolutely.
to cast a spell to hide another spell.
Yeah.
Never mind then.
It has more material. It has all material semantic and verbal components.
Oh wow, bad.
10? Okay.
You're cast spell.
You reach your hand down. You're chanting out doctor stuff. You're just the stethoscope, the microscope, endoscope, and then you reach down and you begin to cast your spell. But as you do so, a hand reaches out, and as soon as the reverberation leaves your lips and the air around you begins to just tingle with your verbal components, the weave itself begins to wrap itself around these words. And as you cast the spell and you go, a hand reaches out and grabs onto yours. And pulling back for a brief moment, you look up and you see Herod Bree, who is staring down at you. It says, "What the fuck are you doing?"
I think it's a curse. I was trying to remove it.
Are we all here?
I don't
It's
think Matilda. told
Pretty
us about
late
that.
into the night, and
Okay.
yeah, you guys are
He's
sleeping. He stops you and he stares at you and he says, "Were you sent from Amaranth?"
No.
Roll deception.
I want to guide myself, but
Cast more spells in your face. I'm totally not remembering.
Are you remembering it? No. Valisa!
Stop it!
I actually love that you failed that.
This is so on brand.
He looks around to determine whether or not anybody noticed, and with a 4, 3, 2, and a 1, nobody else seems to have. But as he like picks you up with just one quick motion from your steps, he pulls you over to the side away from people and is just like,
I was trying to help. I am helping.
who are you? Why are you here? Be honest.
I was trying to remove what I suspect is a curse on this human being.
You cast magic. And you say you are trying to remove a curse from a human being as though that's something you just do. Why? How are you here? Why are you here? What are you doing? And do you want to get killed? Stop this.
Can I just try? Please? I think it is a curse. They're sleeping. We'll just give them like a cup of water and pretend it was like magic in it, like fix them. I don't know. Come on.
He leans back and says, I can't.
Aren't you curious? I want to help them. I want to stop the sickness. Please?
Roll persuasion.
Okay, Kelly.
Come on, come on.
I'm here. Come on, Dad.
You hear, I got you, champ.
Yeah,
Wink.
Yeah. No! Dad!
Middle of the ground.
Not the one.
The worst.
He looks at you and he thinks on this and he says, I can't be the one that lets you end your life.
Oh, what? What do you mean in my life?
It's too dangerous in that city for people like you. Whatever you want to do here, I can't lead a young woman to her death.
Oh my goodness. Calm down. I know that you're married and you have children, and I might be a woman, but I can really take care of myself. So if you need to take a step back for your conscience, this conversation never happened. I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna try to remove a curse off of that person to see if it is, my hypothesis is correct. And then tomorrow morning, I'm marching my butt right into there and I'm gonna see what else I can do. Because I'm here to help. So... Also, it'd look really weird if you caused a big stink about someone that just came in the city. So...
Roll intimidation.
Come on! Ah! I'm gonna pray to Leoftel this time because Dad fucked me over. So come on, Leoftel!
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
Yes!
obviously, Zamayatel is
Zamayatel.
your actual god.
Oh, sorry. Leoftel.
The wind
Leoftel's
picks
over.
up around you, and as you stare forward, just this celestial light envelops your irises for a brief moment. And as he leans back, he just turns and goes to fucking kick a small barrel in the side. You see him clutching that small twine ring in his finger, and he runs his fingers like fidgeting across all of the rings on his fingertips before eventually just turning away, looking back at you for one brief moment and just saying,
You lost a daughter, didn't you? Did they go in there and then come back? Do you want me to go look for her? I'm already looking for someone else's sibling or like family member.
He turns around and faces you, and you just see a single tear in his eye
Oh,
as he looks at you
fuck!
for a second, and then just with this like look of frustration on his face, just leaves.
Oh, whoops.
About as well as one might expect for Matilda to
Yeah.
have a solo conversation.
Yeah. By yourself, no less.
Yeah.
There's no supervision.
He turns and begins to make his way away. You
There's
half
feeding
expect some kind of commotion throughout the night, but none comes.
Okay, well, actually, I don't wait. I want to get this spell off before he comes back. So I'm like, okay, he's leaving. Do. And I go find the person that was sleeping, and I cast remove curse on them.
Okay, same thing, like just chanting doctor stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead, another deception check.
I'm like, Cool, dude. Sorry you're crying. Bye. I need to go do science. Spell science. Do good. Stethoscope. Okay. Yelling stethoscope worked. Okay.
Yeah, that's taking note of that. Nobody seems to pay attention, and as you manage to stifle the verbal component here, nobody's really looking at you. And as you cast Remove Curse, the person who had previously just been kind of cloistered up, not by lack of cold for the area, but you kind of shore up, cast the spell, and as this just faint pulse of energy passes from you to them, they just kind of loosen. And you see their muscles, the tense nature of their hands kind of loosens, and out of one of their hands rolls a small glass stone. And they finally manage to just like raise their hand up to their head and form a small pillow as they go to sleep, like visibly more comfortable.
Where are my friends sleeping?
Probably in a sleeping bag.
Yeah, we're probably in
closed up.
a tent, maybe off to the side, or like a little makeshift area we set up. It would be like probably like 40 or 50 feet. Vincent wouldn't want to sleep next to sick people.
So the gem, like, is it got a thing wrapped around it? Like, what is this gem thing?
It seemed this one's just a loose gemstone, exactly the same as the young man's that was tied around his neck. It's just a larger chunk of polished glass, kind of refractive in various different colors.
I like rip a piece of paper out of my notebook and like use it to make like those like little scoop things and like scoop up the gem so it's like in the paper. And I like walk over to where my friends are and I sit and I'm staring at them and I'm waiting until I know it's okay to wake them up, and then I'm gonna wake their asses up. Because I had a breakthrough. There's some science happened.
Few hours pass, and the next person who may or may not have been on watch would awaken. But as the early morning crests above, do any one of you in particular want to talk to Matilda, or do you all awaken in the morning?
We would just wake up.
Yeah, Killian would just be sleeping through the night.
Yeah, you wake up and I'm
Do
sitting
like
there.
our morning routine with Killian to get her redisguised.
Yeah.
No, the first thing you see when you wake up is like wherever you are, it's just like when you like feel eyes on you. Matilda's just like staring at you, waiting for you guys to wake up so she can tell you as soon as she sees your peepers open. She's like, "Get up!"
Well, just hold on, dear. We need to do
What is it?
Hila.
Matilda's like foot's bouncing.
I don't know how to pronounce your name. Bianca is incapable of pronouncing this name.
Chloya.
Oh, Claire.
Do-do-do-do-do. Matilda's like throbbing with energy.
Okay. I'm assuming we've done the morning routine.
You are all good.
What is it, Matilda?
Did it. Figured it out.
Or,
Figured what out?
sorry, he would have said Margaret. My bad.
There-
Nicole.
It's not a sickness. And I like pulled out my paper. It's a curse. I saw one of them holding one of these, and I wasn't sure if it was like a thing. So I wasn't sure. So I didn't think it was incredibly important. And then, yeah, I did it, and now they're fixed. I fixed them.
What did you do with it?
What did you fix?
I removed a curse. They're cursed. These people are not
Yeah,
sick.
but what'd you do with this gem? The glass.
I haven't touched it. I picked it up with a piece of paper and brought it over for you all to see. It was in their hand, clenched very tightly. So I think all the sick people probably have it on their person. I don't know if you can remove it from them, or it has like it's like sucking energy out of them, and maybe the energy goes inside the gem. I'd have to like really study these, but I really don't want to touch them because that would be kind of creepy. Not creepy. Sorry, that would be kind of dangerous. Because I don't want to like get cursed through like my hands and feet and legs and arms. I do not want them to shrink. I need them to do stuff. So I don't want to touch this one.
Vincent's gonna stand up and just look around the camp. He wants to see if there's any commotion going on or if anything's different.
Roll perception.
Nine.
Business as usual. Some of the more workman types have woken up early and have begun their daily craft.
You
Okay,
know if
well-
a curse like this, Margaret, do you know if a curse like this has like a focal point, or do you think every single one of these people
It's
are
a gem.
individually?
I think
Yeah, but I mean, like, if we destroy one thing, do you think that would break the curse on everyone?
It really depends on the curse, who cast it. Curses can get pretty complicated, and it really depends on the object too. It would probably be smarter to make a bunch of smaller objects with the curse on it, only because then if you break it, it wouldn't take the curse off of everybody, and it would take less magic out of you to curse a single object versus like a huge ass curse that you like put on everybody, you know? Like
Yeah, but it would
really-
take a long time, right? To curse all of these necklaces individually and then distributing them across who knows how far.
Well, if you're kidnapping people from just so you know, like Matilda's not talking out loud. It's just you can't pick up my voice when I whisper.
Yeah.
Like if you're kidnapping people from Mistress family or from the Tinkerers Guild, it would be really easy to find a way to use that to force people to do this kind of work.
Let's just wondering how this is going to aid us.
Well,
We're not going to go around decursing everyone, are we?
No, I just wanted to test my hypothesis to see if it was correct. But that will change how we interact with it because we know that we can't catch it. We won't be touching those things. If someone hands it to us, we're like,
That is good to note. No one saw you last night, did they?
Oh, Harry did, but he won't talk.
Hmm.
Do you kill
Did
him?
you kill him?
Oh, no.
Did you do something to him?
No. Well, I may have caused some emotional distress. He was very adamant about a young lady not going into the city, and I deduced that I think he had a daughter that went in there and didn't come back. And
But why do we trust this individual we've known for less than an hour?
I can't explain it. I just do.
Okay.
Should we go check in with them? Or
Yeah, we can.
it's almost sun up. We're gonna be fetched soon, right?
Yeah, I thought there's
Yeah.
something where I was going to go see Herod. Let's go see him.
Okay.
Sure.
One thing you take note of, Vincent, is that Mo has not returned throughout the night or in the early
Oh.
morning.
No
As you
better.
guys awaken and you begin to prepare, two guards approach. Two of the guards that are, once again, just wearing the tabards and random
Oh, we
pieces.
don't have time to go see Harold, or?
You see the two guards approach you, and then they say, Zarik asked us to bring you into the city. You seem to have been chosen, so congratulations.
Perfect. You can follow us while we go check on Herod.
I'm afraid you'll be following us. But we will be taking you into a temporary work housing within the Iron Market, and then from there you will receive training for what is needed within the mines. So thank you all. We have heard that one of you is a physician, and then that you will be separated for a brief time while you speak with the other royal physicians.
Is it possible if she has some sort of entourage? Everything seems to be. Maybe Joe over here can keep her company.
I'm afraid I don't have clearance to answer any questions. If you have any further questions, please await your training. And then they both turn and begin to make their way towards the city entrance.
Just a brief insight on them. Do they seem like everything they're saying is just orders that have been given? They're not privy to knowledge that they're keeping from us.
From your insight, you can roll insight on this one, because this seems to be pretty actively something you're doing.
11.
As you begin to focus in on them, insight would be a floor on this in the first place, or passive rather. As you begin to focus in on them, they don't seem to be deceptive in any way. This seems to be business as usual for them. There's lots and lots that they don't seem to be sharing with you. And they seem to, but as city guards, they definitely seem to be rank and file pretty low on the ladder.
In the back of Matilda's head, I know you got yourself, but he ratted you out to a degree. Or did something stupid. And now you're going off on your own. We won't be able to help you.
I really don't did.
Well, let's hope your trust in this individual holds out. Take
In the
care.
meantime,
I have no
sorry.
idea where they're taking us.
In the meantime, since Killian is not privy to this telepathic discussion, she just kind of grabs her backpack and goes, "All right, moving up in the world," and like starts just marching right behind the guards, not waiting for anyone or not worried about Herod. She's trying to keep her pep in her step. So they follow the guards.
Yeah, Joe's gonna go with.
Because things seem to be rapidly moving now, and we didn't have time to discuss this morning, Vincent's going to poke into everyone's mind and just reaffirm what our goals are here, what are we trying to do, and what direction we're currently focusing on, because I feel like we're being pulled in many directions already.
Number one goal is find Rowena.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this curse thing is just more...
It is helpful
Information.
information for us to know what is going on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're not like pursuing trying to get rid of it necessarily right now.
No, not at this
Okay.
moment. That's not. Matilda wanted to confirm that she was correct, that this is a curse and not a virus, which will be able to change how we interact with this thing, and also to know not to touch. If anyone's like, "Here's this glass thing," we're like, "Oh
Mhm.
no."
It is very possible getting Rowena out very much might be solving what's happening here, though, because
'Cause you-
Rowena will not be going without completing her mission.
Yeah, this was the mission for the Mister family, but also
Yeah.
kind of it would also be valuable in if you were interested in finding the location of the other two who had come here before you. They are likely also pursuing the mission, and this all this strangeness seems to have something to do with it.
And my curiosity was we're trying to figure out why so the mission, the original one that the other mistress family was sent on was to figure out to do with the carriage, right?
It's for supplies. They need supplies to build their airship. They get the supplies from here. Supplies have stopped coming out of here.
Okay. So if we just tell them like it seems like the Illuminati has taken over and they've cursed people and all of this bullshit.
Well, the mission
that's
is
essentially
to
solving that.
get supplies to start coming back out of here.
Yeah, that's it. This one is not like info gathering. The team that they were sent from Mistro is the shock team, the team that is going to go and do that thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's okay if we blow things up occasionally. That's good.
And
Sorry.
also,
It's
too,
been weeks between sessions and I'm
That's
starting
okay.
to
No,
lose
no,
our
no.
objective.
and also too is like our mission actually is to figure out why Rowena's gotten no contact, because there's been we have not heard or been able to make contact with her, and that was concerning to them. So we're still trying to figure that information, but Rowena's mission was to stop what was happening here, and in order for Jojo to get her mom out and to we need to complete the mission because Rowena is a stinker for completing shit. So that's why we're probably gonna get saddled trying to figure out what's going on.
Number one thing I know, don't try and get between my mom and her research.
Cool. Just curious.
Oh no, it's good to get that context.
Yeah,
All good.
a nice little
Um,
refresher for all of us about what we're doing here.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it feels like we're being pulled in random directions.
Mm-hmm,
Cool. Okay, and yeah, is there any way? These guards are saying, "Come with us right now," right?
Yeah, they're currently leaving. Killian Gnome has begun to walk forward.
Sweet. Vincent will take out his little minstrel thing, his lute from Ugad. I don't know. It looks weird, so I always think it's something different. And just start playing a little bit of a ditty on it while we're walking, just to keep just something soft, like he's practicing. And he'd like to subtle cast hex on one of the guards. He's gonna choose wisdom.
Hex has a verbal somatic material, which is the instrument,
The instrument.
and concentration. You're totally good. As you continue to play, your music reverberates out, and you hex wisdom on one of the two guards.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He kind of just shudders for a brief moment as he continues to move forward, and you can feel this pall kind of just inset upon him as your concentration
doing it at
continues.
3rd level, so it's gonna last for 8 hours.
And you guys begin to approach the front of the city gate. As you enter into the center of the two large wooden doorways, the first drops down, and you see 2 doors on either end that lead to 2 different towers that encircle the area. And then 2 guards at the other end move over towards the gate and give a specific knock Just like bump, 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 bump. Takes 2 or 3 seconds to complete. But as they finish it, the doorway begins to open. You see just ropes as the door is slowly pulled against on the other side by additional guards. And then as you all are ushered forward and enter into the city limits, those doors close and the rear lifts on the exterior. And looking around on the inside of the city, there's nobody here. You see, you practically see frickin' dust bunnies flying around. You looking out, you see that the city is in utter disarray. There's footsteps and stone has been torn up. There is no maintenance. Some of the buildings have been just fallen, nearly. And moving through, they immediately turn and are just like, follow this way.
What happened here?
The sickness has taken a larger toll than the people outside seem to know. But if you have been cleared, then surely you know this is of the utmost secrecy to not cause panic.
We weren't really given a lot of information, do you?
Well, I'm sure you'll be
No,
briefed
that's-
shortly.
So,
What were you saying, Jojo?
well, we'll be brief soon, but is there anything that you can tell us about what's going on here? There's no one out. Is everyone bedridden? What's going on?
Go ahead and roll persuasion. I have Hex.
It's an 18.
See, the guy is kind of sweating and just wipes his brow and just almost in this just daze. It's just it seems like a lot of people have been taken into the inner side of the city. We're just exterior guards, but of those that remain in the city, of the several 5,000-6,000, there's probably only a handful of a few hundred left. Then the other guy's like, we don't answer questions. Right. I'm sorry. The two
We
continue.
were just trying to figure out what's going on. We can't help as we're out of the loop.
To the one who was like, we don't answer questions, it sounds like you don't have many.
Was that an insult? He stops
You
and
actually know
turns
what's
and
going
faces
on
you.
here?
That's not my job. And he reaches his hand towards his short sword.
Hey, if you want me to help, stop.
Let's just all calm down here.
You see a familiar voice, or you hear a familiar voice from behind say, you should listen. They seem wiser than their years. As Herod approaches, having awaited your guys' arrival at the stairs, he pulls out a piece of paper and hands it to them and says, transfer. Too valuable. They're going to be needed elsewhere. The guards take a look over it and I don't know who you think you are, but he's like, this is Zarik's order. They take a look at the page again and just poring over it. Fold it up. Right? He's like, you guys can take a few hours off. You've earned it. I think we have.
Inciting this whole thing, is he bullshitting these guys?
With your passive, yes.
It's a smart hold it.
He turns to face you guys as the other two guards leave. He says,
Nice one.
thank you.
Told you I'm a good judge character.
It's hard to trust someone you met for an hour.
I can't let them take you. I don't
Oh my
know.
gosh.
I don't know what they're doing. But I have someone else who I think can help you more than whatever the hell's going on here. Follow me. He begins to take you guys down a southern road.
Harold,
Looking
how are
up-
you helping us? And what do you
Going down
need?
a southern road. I'll just say this once, as you quickly rather, before I jump out of that one. You see these stairs? There's a large stone plinth, and on that stone plinth is carved in fine runes, pointing a direction up says the Iron Market, which leads you towards this kind of large blue section of buildings up here. As you turn and you begin to move down, Herod looks towards you and kind of glances the area. Complete lack of people. And he says, I don't actually know what's going on here, but all of this started when the Lyrian Order began to take control of this area. I'm leading you to some people who can help. I don't know if all of you are like her, but kind of hope that you are. He
Are the
begins to.
people that you're leading us to?
They're from Emerith.
Wouldn't
I
it
know
be
you
smart-
aren't. And I don't want you to be intimidated. But they're a little intense.
I think we can handle our own, honey.
He looks towards Matilda.
Wouldn't it be smart to have someone on the inside, though? I
On
can
the
get-
inside of the city.
Well, I have a lot of information. Like, if I work as a physician for them, I can get a lot of good
They're
information.
gonna
Hey.
keep you under lock and key, dear. I don't think they'll
Margaret.
allow you out.
Let's just go with this route for now.
Okay.
Yes.
He smiles. He shows you the rings on his fingers, and he says, I'm cooperating for a reason. They claimed my family was sick and took them onto the inner ring of the city.
Oh,
I seem to have the ear of some of them. They seem to respect me. But it's not. Something is wrong. Something is very wrong.
Hmm.
I am sorry. I didn't mean to make you upset.
It's all right.
That's a big deal. She doesn't usually apologize to people.
I usually have you around me when I have those conversations, so I've been learning to have, I think it's called tact, I think? I don't know what it has to do with tax.
I
But
would say
anyway.
empathy.
But yeah, I've been trying, and I think I did real bad yesterday. But it was okay, you guys weren't there, so it technically didn't happen. Only you were there, so you only know what happened.
You like
He
the
looked-
fact
Think
that he
bad
didn't-
it was him and not a normal god. Or you'd be dead.
I was just about to say, I feel like the fact that he didn't attack you means you're doing a lot better.
Oh,
I
As
would
you go-
very much like to meet someone from Amaranth who's a lot, please.
You are taken into the inside of this large church. You see the Church of Saloon before you. You see the kind of sigil of the full moon surrounded by various different phases of the moon inset in this like fine iron that has been carved. And as you enter in through the large front doors, you just see rows and rows of these people who have been like interred into sickness. And as you begin to approach the rear end of this large cathedral, you see a single woman wearing a long ceremonial robe, white, standing with a like flowing tabard of saloon, hands completely obscured in these very long white gloves. She turns to face you all and immediately just looks towards you, Jojo, with you don't recognize this woman. Just like she's got this
Sure.
kind of like tanned olive skin, relatively young, like early 20s. And as she looks towards you, her face just drops. And just looks towards Herod, who looks towards her and kind of insights something, and then they look towards you, and this entire thing happens for a few seconds. As
Jojo, seeing that expression, just big smile.
Herod takes a single step, kind of breaking the silence in this echoing chamber, and brings you all towards, and he says, "My lady, I have guests." She nods and says, "Ah, you can see that. You all must be very sick. Here, come with me now to the rear of the... this way." And she just turns and makes her way over to the corner.
sick of walking. Jeez.
Killian just starts like, yeah.
Herod's like, "Stop."
Stop it.
I feel like we're all making this mess. And Vincent will look around to see if it's actually going to be an issue or if we're fine.
Everybody roll a group charisma check. People are either going to think you're insulting them, or they're going to think that you're making light of the situation.
Oh, Killian.
There actually seems to be like a faint chuckle that moves through the room, as though like it just there was this kind of air of darkness. And then as you guys enter in, it's just like, oh, it's really rough. People start to just kind of chuckle as though this is all just like much less than it seems to be. At least those who are conscious or not just staring
Yeah.
forward into nothingness.
I think anyone in our group who's paying attention sees like a visible releasing of like some weight on Jojo's shoulders at those women like
You also told us
recognizing
that
her.
she was in like a weird gown thing in your vision
Yeah.
too. So
Yeah, Jojo just looks like a huge sense of relief washes over her.
in the back of your
Mhm.
head, you're like, I'm pretty sure that's your mother, but I can already tell that, you know,
Are you
Yeah.
sure this? Are you sure?
I don't know. Last time you seemed to, doubt me, so
No, that's her.
cool. Well, it wasn't that difficult to find her.
As you guys reach the outer edge of the inner chamber of the church and just throw open this one door, take a long stride down some stone steps and find yourself in this small room. Inset, you see various different desks and papers and some alembics and mortar and pestle set off to the side. And as the doorway closes and Herod kind of just steps back and gives a bow, begins to make his way towards the top again, the woman reaches up
Vincent
and
points at him. Is he not allowed here?
he can come and go as he pleases. She just pulls and just you see the face kind of pull away and a familiar mask a mask of glass, a fractal male's face kind of pulls off, and you see underneath the mask,
Rui.
roll a fate dice.
Oh,
This will be JoJo's.
Oh, I guess it could technically be another one of the people that was with them.
13.
You see your mother, Rowena Manx, who looks onward towards you and is just like, Jojo, what are you doing here?
He just gives her a big hug and lifts her up.
No, stop that! As you lift her up and you begin to just hold on to her.
You told me there was only a 40% chance. I think it was 46 that you were alive.
Orion is a bit of a tease when it comes to that stuff, and you should be fine.
Roll perception, Jojo. He's a what?
No, man, he's a cock, not a tease.
Oh, it's a natural 20.
Natural 20. As you grab her and lift her up and she's patting you on the back, you feel her right arm is hard, rigid. And as you place her down, she's like, Jojo,
She
you're grounded. You are not to leave this church.
She takes her hand and looks at it. What's going on here?
Roll a grapple. Athletics versus athletics or acrobatics.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I can't
Take the
remember.
Dexter
I
roll,
only
yeah.
have advantage if
You're
I'm
raging.
raging. That's just normal.
Yeah. Oof.
Ooh, bad.
Ooh, with a nat 1, you grab onto her hand and she pulls, and you're at this point, you're just trying to grasp onto the glove, and 'cause she's just wearing these long, flowing white gloves. You try and grab onto that and pull, but it's just stuck. And then she pulls her hand away from you quick and just fucking slaps you across the face.
Woo!
Mom.
Jojo, you will respect your mother. Sit down. Points at the ground. Down, young lady.
She sits.
All of you. What are you all doing here?
I don't think we've been formally introduced. Hello, Rowena.
Absolute
Mr.
pleasure
knew
to
we were
meet you.
coming, so take a deep breath.
Mister knows a lot of things, but that doesn't mean that she always has good ideas.
Vincent
offense.
holds out his hand in a
My lady.
handshake. Name is Vincent Goldwater. I'm part of Jojo's family.
It's a pleasure to meet you. I recognize your name. That's a lot of baggage. Congratulations, and also it's a blessing really to have something to live up to. Explain yourselves.
You're late.
You're
Yeah,
here
you-
at all.
Yeah, I'm here because you're late. I'm here to bring you home. You said 2 months. It's been what, 3.5?
Yeah, and everyone that tried to contact you couldn't get in contact with you, so this is kind of your
This
fault
was-
that we're here.
Mr. sent in a little extra help.
Long-range communication hasn't been working in quite a few. Well, actually, since we've sent any of our people here in the first. That's aside from the point.
Yeah, Jojo said the magic air feels weird.
Yeah.
That's a good way of putting it. It feels very dry. No, stop it. Listen, I can't. Why are you all here?
Well, we didn't just jaunt our way all across the continent. One of your family members helped us.
What's
Who?
going on?
Orion, of course. Who else can teleport people halfway across the universe?
Oh my god.
I hate his hat. It's awful.
The dumb hat.
Yeah, it is a really
I sort of
dumb
like
hat.
it, actually.
No,
Two
It's dumb,
others.
but I like it. Anyways, Mom, what's going on here? What are we doing? What do we need?
She looks towards each and every one of you, and everyone can roll a group persuasion check here. You can see that there is a look of desperation on her face.
Do I have advantage or disadvantage?
You have
Vincent, what were you
Also-
gonna say?
disadvantage.
Heath and Mackenzie are here, though. We don't know where. They're probably still outside the walls. I thought they got in.
I've met with Heath and Mackenzie already.
Well,
You got a 0?
I got a 0
Oh.
for hating my on.
I thought that was dual natural ones, but it was a 3 and a 1, which is almost as
So,
amazing.
Like, are we just rolling persuasion?
As a
No.
group persuasion check.
Oh, persuasion. Okay, I'll already rolled
Yeah.
that. Is that
When she, because you said she looks at each of us. When she looks to me, I'm gonna like take off the hat and revert to my goblin.
Of course.
self.
Oh, is Herod here?
Herod is either outside the door or already gone.
Okay, cool.
Well,
Matilda.
There doesn't seem to be any
Ah.
any shaking of her demeanor when you like revert to goblin form. She's no surprise whatsoever.
I just
Not-
wanted to be, she took off her mask. I'll take off my mask.
Word. Respect. As
Arms crossed down.
Everyone else did very good.
No,
She's
it's
looking
rolled
at
a 9.
she's looking at everybody, and with a general success. Vincent did awful 16. As you
I
all
rolled
look
a
towards
9.
her. I know, but 16 total. Oh, I'm sorry. That was a charisma ability check.
Yeah, I thought you said a charisma ability check, so I
Your
had to reroll
persuasion would be
persuasion.
silver tongue, though, right? So it'd be
Oh.
17, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be 17. I lied.
So as she sits down at one of these desks and just... Okay. There's some kind of a magical plague going on in the city of some kind.
Correct.
The people here have been... Do you know something?
Yeah, they're cursed. They have these weird. I wrapped it in the piece of paper, so I like unfold the
Bonbon.
paper and I hold it. They're all holding or wearing these things. I cast a remove curse on one of them. That's how Herod caught me. I now know better to be more vigilant, but I cured one of them down there. I'm kind of glad we left because it would have caused a big hullabaloo because somebody all of a sudden got better. But yeah, these things are probably sucking shit out of them. And I think, what's going on with you're wearing gloves, and everyone else has like shrivel hands. So are you cursed too?
Well, she's whole ceremonial garb thing, dear.
Rowena reaches over and grabs onto like these rounded spectacles and puts them on. And you can see now she's got this just kind of like wavy red hair pulled back, just ragged. She looks tired as she's sitting, very like just thin angular face that comes down in like a quite a long neck as she's sitting there. So, are you a cleric? You have the ability to remove curse. That's all that matters. That's valuable information. We had a cleric traveling with us, or at least in the advanced party previously, but I've not heard anything from the advanced parties. I've been relatively on my own pretty much this entire time.
I have a feeling this is a small note. I should have probably brought up before. I sent my compatriots, a familiar, into the city to scout it out. Yesterday, they didn't return. So I'm assuming they have the capabilities of detecting invisible creatures.
Just resummon him? Her, them, it?
It's
They?
more of a formal verbal contract than it is an actual familiar.
Them? I see. That's unfortunate. You could...
But that means that people within the city can not only use magic, probably, but know that there's people looking for
Well, a Lidlarian order probably has the dwarf mare lady probably under a spell or something.
Is there a rift in the city?
I've traversed, not that I've seen, and I haven't seen any of the rifts opening within the area. We've seen Gerda Stormforge. I've traveled into the inner side of the city just a few times, and she seems to be working somewhat alongside the Lyrian Order and some workers. Workers are regularly brought into the mines next to her office, and people almost seem to be drawn towards the inner city limits.
I noticed when only the sick people feel like they need to go in, and the curse compels them to get in.
There are a few in the basement that we actually need to restrain. It's rather grueling. Go ahead, Kelly.
Well, that's not entirely true. Arden, one of the guards outside, he was really proud that his family was moving into the inner city. I didn't get the idea that his family was sick. I thought that they were just like, they were moving up.
A lot of the a lot of the guard on the outside of the city has been just repurposed from the population. And the general consensus among the people is that if you go into the inner city, you're receiving treatment. But it most certainly does not seem that way. I've run a few reconnaissance missions into the inner side of the city and tried to check out this mine, but it seems heavily guarded by the honor guard, Sarik Gelder, that has been taking over the city.
Doesn't seem quite natural. He's too big to be a normal human. And then even if he is, I feel like I smell ash bombs.
He also really sucks. I don't like him.
She pulls out a book and says, "Is that a trait of your lineage? You can smell ash bombs." She just awaits notes.
Dear, it's just a feeling.
Killian had the exact same idea. Like, you see, like, Killian, like, looks to Vincent, like, really?
That's impressive one way or the other.
I can, let's just say my intuition is something that shouldn't be questioned.
And in response to you're sniffing your shoulder as well. You haven't bathed in a while. You got some shoulder stuff. But as you, Jojo.
Oh.
Yeah.
All prestidigitation.
Oh, nice.
Rowena leans back and says, I know that you're bound, and I know that I didn't want you to take part in any of this. I didn't.
She didn't really have a choice, dear. Well, you're her mother, but you're also her rag bray, so.
Jojo, you're already ready. That's amazing. I'm so proud of you. No, you're still grounded.
I'm on the ground. She's still sitting.
Don't make me laugh. That's not fair.
So what's
No,
our
that's
next
not
step? Do we need to get into the mines? Are we?
The mines are where everything's happening. I'm sure of it.
Should we just go blow it up? Stealth mode order.
She pulls out one of those gemstones, and she holds onto it, and she says, "I've dispelled this stone several times. It's enchanted with something. And it seems to have a particular effect, but I can't get rid of it. And now you say that these are cursed, but en masse, this is an insane scale. These gemstones are everywhere. You can find them discarded along the city limits. Such something of this scale, this magnitude, is terrifying. Whatever it is that's in that mine.
It could be like a cursed artifact if it comes in contact with these things, curses it, or maybe they've like enslaved some sort of ash bonded person and are just using them like some sort of curse mule.
Or deity, maybe. They're not infallible.
What is this material made of? Are we sure it's not like shards of a bigger thing that they're mining from the mine?
It seems to be just mundane glass. I'm
It
not.
could be, but
What's wrong with your hand?
Okay, fine. She reaches down and grabs onto the glove, and just each finger pops off and begins to pull, and it takes effort. As you can see, some just faint scratches forming along the surface of the glove, and as she removes it, her entire hand, from the top down, though articulatable, is crystallized. From the fingertips to the base, you see it's almost translucent. You can see through to bone. You can see muscle moving, though it grinds like stone.
impressive but impractical. Might want to get that looked at.
Oh, keep that still. Hold on. That's so.
This is what happened the first few times I traversed into the mine. It began to spread. I went after the third or fourth trip. There's this dust. It seems to just be that pervasive in the mine. It's this kind of refractive, almost rainbow-like dust. And
Okay, this is a little bit more involved than I feared.
That refractive rainbow, does that remind me of that school of magic I didn't recognize?
precisely.
Yeah.
They're mining that dust, and then they're taking it to the smelters, and they're smelting it into glass, and they're combining the two together. Because if you take sand, you create and you heat it up really hot, you make glass. But they're taking this weird, freaky dust that we've been seeing everywhere, and they're putting it in the glass. And then when you give it to people, it does a similar thing, but not. It's not quite like turning them into crystals, but it is fucking them up some way. Oh.
I'd reached a similar hypothesis, and with the impression of curses being built into all of this,
Mom,
this
can I take a look?
this is large. She
Um,
begrudgingly reaches her hand forward.
at both her hand and the shard that she's holding on to, magic awareness.
If Jojo goes to touch it, Vincent will.
She's not. She's just
Okay.
looking.
Both the shard itself that Rowena had has this just ever so faint. It's almost like a heartbeat of magic, and you can see like a faint pulse of that just strange kind of coloration that you don't recognize. And as you begin to dig into it, both her arm and this thing are pulsing in the same heartbeat's wavelength. And the color shifts between red, blue, yellow, green, and it just continually moves along with these pulses as you look at it.
Is this wild magic?
I don't think... The weave hasn't been damaged here, as far as I can tell. At least I haven't noticed any areas in which my magic was affected.
The magic feels weird here, right?
Yeah,
Does
it
it-
is
it's-
damaged.
This is not a school of magic I recognize, and it is shifting between colors, sort of like, and she like points towards her eyes as like the chaos is sort of like disappearing. I think the weave is damaged here.
I'd Mistra. Pardon this one time, but fuck. Why my daughter?
Oh, Mister didn't really have a choice. We just were. This was happening regardless. Don't worry about Mister being involved.
You see if
Helped us get here.
you see a faint smile reach the corner of her lips, and she says, "Mistra's always involved. She always knows."
Good for her. Give me your other arm. I'm gonna try and remove your curse.
She does.
And
Don't. If Matilda goes to go touch it, Vincent
No,
will.
I'm touching her, like her arm, not her. Like I don't want to touch the gem.
The arm and
No, I'm
the gem
talking
seem to be
about the arm
connected.
as well.
No, I said her other arm, her non-crystal.
I
arm.
would still probably stop you.
Why?
Well, if this doesn't work, you're gonna be, dead weight with crystal hands.
She already removed
I
her
already
from someone
hugged
else.
Jojo.
Yeah, I already hugged her.
We didn't
This-
know she had
Matilda,
crystal
could you
arm.
please?
This affliction doesn't seem to be something that's spreadable. I believe it has something to do with my repeated trips to the mine.
Oh, can you look at the gem, this one with your magic awareness, please, Jojo? I want to know if the heartbeat's still happening in this one.
Could that have
We can
happened
say-
in the same 12 seconds?
You were holding it out.
Yeah,
Actually,
I had it in my paper, or it would have been out nearby.
roll fate dice, Matilda.
Okay.
15's favorable. You do not need to burn another resource for this. As you glance down at the gemstone, you do not see the same heartbeat in the one that has been curse removed.
No, yeah, it's clean. Could you please?
Now, I am not really a physician. I lied about that.
I don't think any of that matters at this point.
Anyway, I'm gonna try. I don't know if I'm strong enough because yours seems a bit more crazy than the other one that I cured. So, right, you ready?
Will it hurt?
No,
Not
I
very
can't.
good
I
with
touch
pain.
Your arm. I cast myself.
Okay, as the components ring out, you cast Remove Curse. As far as you can tell, nothing happens.
Fuck.
Did it work?
Can you
Well, your hand is
throw-
supposed to.
can you throw that gem away or?
Yes. Tosses it. It lands against the corner of the room.
I try and see. Can I do it to the gem itself?
You want to remove curse on the gem?
Yeah.
I believe you're out of spell slots.
She did the other one, and then she sat
okay.
and stared at us for 6
Yeah.
hours. So I don't.
Oh,
know if she
yeah.
technically
Yeah.
short rested in
That's
that
fine.
time.
Well, actually, short rest and long rest need to be separated by at least an hour. But in this instance, doing it before your long rest, totally fine. So in this instance, before you finished your long rest, you did that. Gained it all back. It's great. As you cast Remove Curse on the gemstone, you only have the 2 slots right now, right?
Yeah.
Or at 6th level, do you have 3?
No, you don't get a 3rd one until 11th level.
Yeah.
Gotcha. As you place your hand down on the gemstone, you pulse, and as you pulse that energy, that heartbeat flitters out, like being blown out in the wind.
Be 9.
It doesn't seem to affect her arm at all, though.
She reaches down into a small bag and pulls out about 2 dozen of the gemstones. She's like,
Oh, Mom.
maybe any of these?
Oh, my.
But she actively just pours them back into the bag and closes it with like, no, there doesn't seem to be any pull from her towards them. She says, these gemstones, I haven't seen anybody receive a new one, but I have seen just about everybody who's come into here clutching them for dear life. And if I attempt to remove them, they get belligerent, angry.
It's the source of the curse, it seems.
It seems so.
Well, my only thing is obviously we need to go into that mine to solve this and to figure all of this out because we're not leaving until we do. However, I don't want to recklessly walk in and turn into crystal down there.
You'd make a beautiful statue, but we don't want that to happen.
So, how do we get in? Have you've been getting in by getting permission?
No, I have been sneaking in. I am reconnaissance. If they do have the ability to see invisible creatures, as you had mentioned before, Vincent, they have not found me at the very least yet. I know the way to Gerda's residence, and I do think it would behoove us to speak with Gerda on behalf of this, because she seems to be a fine person from what everyone has been saying. However, the Lyrian Order has been working with her directly, so I don't know what is happening between them. It might have something to do with this, it might not, I don't know. Stormforge family is very influential here. Or I could get you directly into the mine. I'm confident I can. And she reaches into a small scroll case and opens it.
Sections that we can have?
She opens up a small scroll case. She does have a crystal arm. So if she had better protection, she may have used them. But as she opens up the scroll case, you see dozens of scrolls. And she's sitting there, she closes it, and she says, invisibility, sending, no remove curse, funny enough. There's quite a few first level spells here as well, but for the most part, I can get all of us in invisibly, at the very least into the mine, but I don't think I should go.
That doesn't solve our breathing problem, although we do appreciate it. Killian, do you think you and I could put our brains together and figure out something to make this less death?
I don't think we have the time or the equipment to do that, though. How long do we got? To the evening, I guess?
Zarik was expecting us, I believe.
Yeah. I'm sure they're going to notice us missing eventually.
I mean, we could spend a few days. This isn't something to rush, I imagine.
He seemed quite impressed by Matilda, though. He called her a blessing.
It didn't reach his eyes.
Not many things do, it seems. I've seen the man. He's rather not loved.
He
But-
said blessing in the way that people say it to other people when they're lying.
How are you all feeling since you arrived here?
I'm fine.
Do a check-in, physically, mentally.
All of you don't feel any different. You're like moving in, you're just resolving these things as you have.
I feel vindicated. I was correct on my hypothesis.
You always feel vindicated.
Because I'm usually correct.
I like her.
I thought you would.
So, okay, that's good. I personally have been feeling somewhat of a pull, but I've also noted that the magic that is at my disposal is somewhat dulled. And it has been over the course of the last few days since approaching these mines. There are many dwarves in the mines. That's something that I've noted as well. That's important information. But not many within the city limits. On the inside of the city, there are some. But the city itself seems almost like a ghost town at this point. The Lyrian Order seems to just control the streets on the inside of the Iron Wall.
Vincent's gonna take out the good berries that he made yesterday. Because they last for 24 hours. I don't know if it's been since then. Has it?
Did you make them on the road?
Yeah.
It's been more than a day. Yeah.
Okay. No, like he made them that morning that we got here. So
When you arrived
or
at...
a little bit after the morning that we got here.
Okay, that's fine then. Those you would still have.
He's gonna look at them and bring them out for a second. Do they feel like they've wilted or their magic has been drained?
No,
Or
if they're there, they are plump, juicy, and delicious. They don't seem to have been affected by any kind of like weakening.
Yeah, our magic seems to be working quite fine. Do you? You hungry?
I'm pretty
Just
sure these.
famished.
I'm pretty sure these gems feed off of magic if you have it, which is why I think Lovely Herod was really worried about us being here, because you're probably giving it lots of food. So we gesture towards Jojo's mom.
Sorry, I was gonna say, if I'm right that this is wild magic, it's possible that the weave is currently being damaged. That your magic might be damaged from this, and she points to her hand.
It doesn't even hurt. She like taps on her arm. She says, but it makes it difficult. I'm not afraid. But I'm worried. I don't want anything to happen to you. We have so few options.
Let's do this together, Mom, and get home, okay?
So what's our plan?
Killian, as soon as someone said, like, Killian, let's work on something, despite the fact that everyone was like, we don't really have the time, Killian immediately, like, upended her backpack in the corner of the room, just kind of, like, off to the side. She, like, set up a bunch of, like, essentially, like, leatherworking and, like, textiles, like, supplies. And then she, under her hat, she takes what looks like essentially like a metal like hairpin that looks like a hummingbird with a crystal in it, and she takes it out and just kind of gives it a flick into the air, and its wings start vibrating rapidly, and she gives it like a couple of pieces of parchment, and it just starts like scrawling little like blueprints.
How cute.
And I'm essentially going to ask the party if they have any like thick cloth or leathers that she could use to like create masks.
There's the clothes we're wearing, but
We have a fair bit of raw material here, because we didn't know what we might need for spell components and disguises and such. How much leather do you need? I have a few bolts.
It's certainly not that much. It's mostly just to make sure that it's tight to the face. And then, I mean, leather entirely is not the greatest. If there's other kind of fabric, something that's breathable but not too breathable. And Killian just starts like listing out all these different things that she would require for a decent mask.
Matilda like comes to help. She's like, yeah, I didn't think we had enough time for you and I to create like a breathing apparatus, but I figured we could put something together that was a temporary solution.
I mean, it doesn't have to look good. I'm not selling these. It just has to be functional. That's what I'm good at.
She pulls out you got leather, you have a fair bit of iron, like a large chunk of scrap. There she has various different dresses. You can see that there's some raiments of saloon within the basement here, like paper. She says, previously I had just attempted to create like a charcoal filter and with what remained from the fire pit and just a small bandana. She pulls open a torn piece of shirt and you can see it just stained black, and she says, but it doesn't seem to have worked very well.
It might not be from inhalation. It could be from contact.
Well, it also, I mean, you're filtering using charcoal. It might require a different substance for the filter. Is there, and this might sound weird, but you have like a component pouch. Is there any spell, particularly that's like, it's like chaos based, that has a material component?
My spell I know that's chaos based does not require a material component.
Well, we could just fill it with a whole bunch of different things to see. That's chaotic, right? Just like add like 5 different spell components of stuff into these masks.
Here's some grasshoppers, and she pulls some out of her vest and hands it to you.
What are we looking for? Like to test the filtration?
That's it.
there's
Killian's
any way to
idea is
test it.
actually just a shit mix of things to like put in between the mask and like the face to like prevent the like chaos magic from getting through. I don't know.
It's as you put it on, it's just like it's quite hard to breathe through. And as you do so, no dust, as far as you can tell, around you is getting in, but there's not much dust around you in the first place.
Yeah.
You also sound like Darth Vader.
I don't know.
We
Who that
don't know
is.
how to get. We're not sure that's going to work, and we don't know how to cure if we do
Well,
get infected.
We don't have enough information. How did this happen? When did this arm start? Did you injure yourself when you were in the mine? Did you have an open cut that this stuff got into? Like, what happened?
Keep asking questions. It's bouncing things around.
Okay, well, what happened? How did this happen? How long have you been going into the mines? How long have you been going into the mines for periods of time? Did you not? When did you start wearing precautionary measures? I'm pretty sure if you're anything like me, your hubris got ahead of you and you went in there without anything, and then you breathed in a bunch of shit, and then now you got a crystal arm. So.
Okay, hold 1 second. She leans down. She opens up the scroll case and grabs one of the scrolls and unravels it. You can see it's an ashen scroll. None of you recognize the writing that's on it. This kind of like distant and very drawn out, almost scripture-looking incantations. And she grabs it and with the crystalline arm kind of like unravels this scroll and then holds both edges of it and sits back and just begins to chant. And then she just lifts her hands away and the entire scroll begins to burn up. And what remains in the ashes form this just small pattern. Okay. I hate this spell. I hate this spell. And she kicks the ashes away and she says, I asked if it would be a good thing or a bad thing for us to go into the mine with these masks. They're wonderful creations. Thank you, Goblin Lady. It told me it would be maybe good, maybe bad. I hate this spell. Well, of the questions that you were asking, though, previously, I don't know. I had worn precautionary measures every time. It was merely a scrap of cloth the first time, but following that, I created the charcoal. Beyond, I have traversed into the city twice toward the evening, and I have explored Mine 2, and Mine 3 is up on the cliff, so I have not been able to get there. Mine 1 is protected by the Lyrian Order.
You have Featherfall in that bag?
I have two scrolls remaining.
We could, if we can get out of the city and then work our way up to those cliffs, we could hop down to that mine entrance.
I don't mean to be a bother, Jojo, but I don't necessarily work out the way you do. I think we have the capabilities of climbing hundreds of feet of sheer rock plate to face.
It would be a long walk to get to where you wouldn't need to climb.
I don't know how possible it would be without some manner of flight. The plateau of the mountain itself is just like the city is carved into the side of this mountain.
Like, I can cast fly, but I can only do so on 2-3 people per day. And it only lasts for 10 minutes. So I don't know if you'd make it to the top.
So here's the
Okay.
interesting thing that I've noticed is that no matter how often you ask people how they got sick or how they got cursed, they always say, I don't know. And your mom's having the same problem. No one knows how or why they got sick, or they got those pieces of glass in their possession. So, yeah, I don't think asking you is gonna like bring anything to light because you won't know. That's one of the symptoms of what's going on.
How do people normally get to that mine entrance?
It's through the city. If you head on in through the iron wall, you can traverse over to the grand staircase and then just pass by the Stormforge company building and into the mine entrance for Mine 1. That one has been guarded by the Lyrian Order. Mine 2 is a bit easier to find. You just need to find the Midnight Cathedral atop the iron wall, and then it is just to the north. Large opening. Harder to police.
These mines connect?
I'm not sure they're labyrinthian.
At this point, Vincent's gonna go out into the out of this room and go kind of just peek out. He wants to know if Harold is still there, and if he's not, if there's any guards that are like looking for people.
You leave and you kind of traverse the steps back up towards the main building, and as you open the door, you see Harold is here. He hasn't been listening or anything, but he is kind of within the saloon church, and it's just like shirt off, wearing just a small like a cloth tank top, and is just like using his clothing to warm up some other people who are shivering, and is sitting there and now has stood up and begun to move over towards this just small plate of food and has begun to just dish out like soup. And as you like look over towards him, he doesn't seem to have noticed you.
Vincent will go over and get his attention. Hey.
Hello.
Can we speak?
Of course. Here. He hands you a bowl. Let's start dishing this out, shall we?
Cool. You look like someone who's sturdy and calm. Try to remain that way. Vincent will start talking in his head. It's better if we have a private conversation here.
How'd I do? This feels odd.
Oh, you'll grow accustomed to it, dear. What do you... This little ruse that you pulled earlier, how long until Zarak catches on and wants us back there, or does he not really care?
I don't know that anybody would really question him in the first place. They would happily take those hours off I gave them, but eventually he's going to get a little bothered that you didn't show up if he has an interest in you. He doesn't know very much about this church. I've been keeping this quite under wraps, but maybe a few days at most. Are you all like her? You all have powers?
No, dear. People can usually just speak in people's heads, right?
Well, no. Not typically. He just responds earnestly. I don't know very much about tieflings, I'm sorry. I assumed.
No, we can't usually speak like this. I'm special. He'll kind of smirk as he's handing bowls out in a general direction.
I don't have any. No, what? Why are you asking me that?
No, I'm sorry, I'm giving
no,
to
these
the
are
DM, to the world, I'm giving information on what Vincent is doing in the moment.
No, these are for the people. Vincent, no. And he even calls you by name, which you never gave. He says, how do I stop this? He grabs the soup bowl and begins to move over towards other people. And you hear a pang in your mind.
Out of character, I'm very confused. What's going on?
You're also confused, Vincent. Something seems to have hijacked your mental connection. You hear a faint ping in the back of your mind that says, wasn't too hard.
I end it?
You end it. Jojo, as this is all happening up top, and Herod seems to have turned away from you like in this aggressive stance, Vincent. Jojo, you had your hand raised?
I think we should all get in through the second entrance and see what we can find. See if we can get to the heart of what's causing this. Hopefully, if we find the source of this this wild magic, maybe it will break all the curses. Hopefully. I think that might be that's the only thing I can think of.
Rowena takes her one remaining hand and reaches out and grabs yours and says, Jojo, I'm so proud of the young woman you've become. And all of your friends here, ready to fight with you. This reminds me of when I was younger, and it's very heartwarming. I look forward to our first journey together. You all should get some rest. It's been very hectic for you.
Killian.
Vincent.
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say Vincent starts marching back down to the group,
I-
but please continue.
What were they? Jojo just leans in a bit. Mom, it's so cool that you're like a spy. Like, so cool.
Infiltration expert.
Sure.
Yeah.
Disco knows about ladies' luck. And he's I'm gonna go rest now.
Killian is still working on the masks. Like, until Killian gets the opportunity to like actually test the mask properly, she's gonna keep like trying to like recreate or like fill it with different things and like try like breathing through it. And like when Rowena says like, "Oh, everyone should get some rest," Killian just kind of like waves her hand like this. It's not catching the camera, but like, like I don't need to rest. I'm doing a thing. But then Killian realizes like, Rowena, how the Lyrian Order, are they? What do we know about them? Like, are they? How many people are there?
Do you have 15 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just doing this anyway.
All right.
And at this point, Vincent walks in. He's like, "We need to go.
What?
Why?
Our cover's been blown."
How?
That was fast.
I was speaking with Harold, in his head to try and keep things incognito, while we were handing out food upstairs. And someone had the capabilities of interrupting our conversation. We spoke about this place, and I'm assuming they will send someone here soon.
Shit.
The doorway behind you opens.
We should.
Uno looks.
You guys all look backwards. And that's where we'll take a break.
Ah!
As you all look towards the doorway that opens, everybody roll perception.
Sorry, I hit the random d20 button.
I granted myself disadvantage because I'm currently mid-project.
Word. Matilda, you look onward, and as the doorway opens, you begin to hear like the shuffling and the movement of people upstairs, and the loud footsteps of Herod Bree as he begins to come down the steps. But at the entrance to the doorway, you don't see anybody as the door opens. None do any of you, save for Vincent. Vincent, you look forward, and as the door opens, you see a familiar-looking individual with long, black hair, tied back, in a white suit, a very pale face, but elegant-looking in his stride. You see Carson standing before you, who looks onwards towards this entire small room, quaint, and then moves forward and begins to close the door as Herod reaches the base of the stairs and just places his hand forward on the doorway and keeps it open and is looking around. It's like, are you all right? Are you all good here?
Hold on. DM, did Matilda get the sense that someone walked through the door when it opened and no one was there?
It was incredibly odd. Like, the doorway opened, something's going on there for sure. But as the doorway began to close and you guys didn't see anything, Herod's like stops the door and looks in with like a worried expression. You can see it looks like he's got a cold sweat going on.
Can I throw a handful of chalk from my compound pouch in the area where it looked like someone could have been? Just kind of like,
You pull a handful of chalk out of your pouch and throw it directly at Herod in the front doorway.
I think she means retconning, so she did that while the door opened.
Yeah, because it like I don't want to throw because I hear him coming down, but the door opened and it did something weird. Like, and I'm like, and because I got a sense that it was odd, I wanted to be like, is there anyone there? Is there an invisible person? Like, what?
I don't think you would have had the speed to be able to do that before
That's
Herod
fair.
reached the base.
That's
Uh-huh.
fair. Well, then Herod gets a face full of chalk, and that is funny as heck.
Okay. He reaches the base. You see he's a little weirded out. You throw the chalk, it passes through. Vincent, you see him just kind of like slowly sidestep around the chalk, but he doesn't really move his legs. He just kind of like moves off to the edge as the chalk flings forward.
It's like there's probably like, you know, in anime when a person like glides, but like an after image.
Oh yeah, yeah.
As he shuffles out of the way and Herod's just slammed with this just cloud of chalk, and he's like, what?
Why'd you put your face there?
Continues looking into the room and is just closes the door and is like, I will not be bothering you again. And you just like,
Sorry, Herod.
as the door locks against the wooden supports. Carson strides forward up towards you, Vincent, and just kind of like takes a place at your side as he brings himself down to one knee. Says, it was quite
He's
tiring
ignoring him.
making my way here.
He turns to the rest of the group. My apologies. Let me look into this, but it might have been nothing.
How long until you know if it's gonna be nothing? Because I'd like to know if we're covered.
Assume it's nothing until I tell you it's something. I think my new abilities might have gotten the better of me.
And at this point, as you guys kind of just settle in for a brief moment, Rowan is like, and the Lyrian Order at this point, as she's just been going through in Professor mode, did not even notice a face full of chalk for Herod Bree. She says, the Lyrian Order's taken over the city. They've currently overtaken an old Velian mansion on the eastern side of the city, and that's kind of been their headquarters recently. They've also overtaken the training grounds to the east of the city, which used to be their military kind of encampment. Yes.
We missed the whole beginning. Start over.
Certainly. So
No, that's fine. Just give us the details that are useful for this mission.
Been
Understood.
listening this whole time.
I'll send you a small dossier, Killian. But she says, frankly, the only thing that's really related to this mission is that whatever they're doing with these sick people, I believe they're causing it. But not only that, they're using these people somehow. I don't know what. Something is going on within this city.
They don't like magic, do they?
The Lyrian Order is very humanist, though they are in some way related to the Altician faith. The Altician faithful have declared them outcasts. They have openly and repeatedly declared that they have nothing to do with the Lyrian Order, in similarity to the Blooming Blades. But they share a better relationship with the Blooming Blades than the Lyrian Order.
This is a giant human experiment. I think that they're trying to create things that will, because it fucks up people that don't have magic, so it steals their life force. But I'm pretty sure that if it was with someone like us in Amaranth who had magic, it would probably just take our magic away. So I feel like they're trying to perfect this so they can send it to Amaranth and wipe out magic users. Right? That's what it seems like to me.
This seems like a weapon specifically against magic users, maybe.
Yep.
Vincent, you see in her face, and Carson stands up and is just like, ooh, I love this part. You see in her face, there's just this faint air of deception. When you guys begin talking about magic users and the connection with magic, and then she kind of just begins to shirk away from the topic. It says, but back to the Lyrian Order previously. They used to have encampments within the area, and they're very still prevalent in the
Why don't we
Shining
go back
Veil.
over what we were talking about? I like Matilda's little theory.
Sure, Matilda, if you'd like to extrapolate.
Well,
trying to
like-
dig into her, was she just trying to exclude information, or did it seem like she was like?
She seemed to be purposefully withholding information.
Or changing the topic on purpose.
I'd like to hear
Twice.
your theories around it, though. Matilda's already shared hers.
It's viable. It's a potential. It seems definitely logical. I don't know how much northern influence the Lyrian Order has, especially via Amaranth, but it would make sense for southern colonies to attempt to create some kind of weapon against the city.
Especially because you're trying to make those like engines or skyships or whatever the heck you guys are doing. They probably don't want that because then you can spread out more and bring more magic influence across the world. So I'm assuming that they're wanting to find a way to stop magic users from existing, which is really stupid because magical races exist. So what are you going to do? Exterminate them? What the?
Is that it? I feel like there's something more.
Go ahead. She's kind of like looking towards you, and you can see in her face she's feeling a little bit like cornered, almost. Go ahead and roll persuasion or intimidation, your choice.
Who?
This would be Vincent.
Okay.
Because Vincent's continually driving it back
Fine,
towards
this one
what he knows
isn't.
is missing.
Ooh. The thing is, I want to use intimidation, but persuasion is just better because I have proficiency with it. Can I roll intimidation with proficiency or no?
You could roll a charisma-based persuasion roll.
It is what? Both charisma.
It wouldn't add proficiency. I also don't think you're currently at an advantage, so it would be one or the other in this instance.
18.
I don't know anything else, and that's embarrassing to say. I'm not.
We're not.
Uh,
I don't mean to pry on anything. If it's something you really need to keep secret, that's fine. I don't know if it's family business, but you can admit the fact that you're holding something back.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really shitty at telling things about people, and even I can see that you're lying and withholding information. You just tried to change the topic on purpose.
stands up and she says, "I'm the adult here," and she turns around and she makes her way towards the stairs to leave the room.
Two!
Dear, I'm almost 30 years old. What the fuck are you talking about?
She turns and she begins to huff her way towards the door, and as she goes to open the door, she like jiggles the handle briefly, and it's just like, "It's ridiculous!" Presses down, and that just flips it until eventually it finally unlatches, and she's like, it goes down, and she pushes the door open aggressively before huffing her way up the stairs. Carson's like,
she usually
"Ooh."
like this?
Huh?
Is your mom usually like that?
Uh,
I see
A
where you get
little
your
bit.
rage.
Thought it was more from her father's side, but you never know these things.
yeah, that's not far off, but I'd say
Is-
don't push it.
This, you do know that this is uncharacteristic of
Yeah.
your mother in this strange situation, for sure.
I saw
Um,
your
Oh, did you raise your hand?
Bianca did.
No, I like you guys.
Oh, oh.
Vincent just
Oh, I
put his
see, I
hands up
see.
like he won't push it anymore.
Jojo's gonna follow after her mom and be like, "Can you guys just give me a sec, please?"
Feel free.
And Jojo follows after her mom. Does she find her?
Moving your way up the stairs, you see she kind of reaches the edge of another doorway and kind of enters in and begins to move upwards. Go ahead and roll dexterity.
I like to think as it cuts to Jojo leaving, Matilda throws like a bunch of chalk in like Killian's face just to test out the mask.
Killian, roll a tinker check. But in the meantime, Jojo, you reach towards the door, and as you go to press open the doorway, you hear a just resounding as Rowena locks it from the inside.
Mm. You okay?
Footsteps leading up.
Okay. I think she just like takes a seat by the door and just waits.
Herod approaches and just hands you a small bowl. It's like,
Thanks.
rough evening. And just kind of taps his bowl against yours and then goes and
No,
continues
it's
to...
been great.
Good. Hopefully better. And Killian, as you tinker away, you place this kind of mask against your face and just a full blast of chalk to the head. You strain to breathe through the mask, but as you do so, kind of like pulling it off, opening it up, you see little bits of chalk caught on the inside within these materials and the thick cloth of the mask, but none reach to the outer side against your mouth.
I think this is about as good as we're gonna get.
I guess you gotta replicate that like
Awesome.
5 more times.
Yeah, it's fine. Strumbeak's been
It's
taking
doable.
notes.
Vincent's going to just lean against the wall and just kind of like oversee everything to make sure nothing weird is gonna go on, and telepathically connect with Carson, but like treating it as if he's just doing nothing. He's just waiting. What are you doing here?
I told you I was going to find you. A master should not be without a servant for long, and I need to see what you're worth. You're half the world away, that's already impressive.
Is this some sort of illusion? Are you actually here this time?
Bit of column A, bit of column B. I am within you, in a way. But my physical body is not here. Somewhat of a presence.
As long as you're useful to me, you can stay for now.
I have access to all of your knowledge, and though I would love to help you with my vast knowledge of my own, wouldn't be much of a test if I just gave you the answers, would it? I'll
Feel
help
free to
you
test
along.
me if you wish. However, don't think I have plans to partake in any of your games. I'm simply just existing here.
I assure you my intentions are entirely innocent, Master. Now, I'm at your beck and call. For the first time, for the rest of time. Until a decision is made.
Good. You wouldn't happen to have... or be the reason that Mo disappeared, did you?
No, I know as much as you do.
Aren't you useful?
Incredibly. Carson stands and just awaits at attention in the corner of the room.
Vincent still doesn't know anything about this individual aside from that one weird dream he had that was like Lavos' dream, right?
Yes. Basically, he had previously told you that a soul is owed to him, and that was promised to him by your father, be it, or maybe even further back. But he said that he will claim one soul of the family line, but he wants to make sure it's the best one, the most ripe soul. So he's following down the generations until he finds the one that he is going to take. But he offers his undying servitude in return until he finds one that he wishes to reap.
Can you go gather information throughout the city, or are you latched onto me?
I'm afraid it's you and me.
Vincent will eye him up and down. Is he, like... You know Vincent's taste. Is he adequate?
He's impeccable. And as he sits back, he says, I can cast some of your pesky magic for you if you like, but I'm going to need to borrow some energy. That's about the extent of my abilities in this form.
If I deem you useful, we'll see. For
I
now,
aim to
just
please.
Use all of my abilities to the best that you can.
Of course. Then he stands back. Meanwhile, as you guys continue, Killian continues making these small bundles in the corner. And Matilda, with the both of you, it's actually quite short work. And you guys managed to gather these together in quite some time. It's about midday now. And as you kind of await outside the chamber, you don't hear any more footsteps coming from the doorway, but Herod approaches you and looks at the door and looks at you, and it's just like pulls out a small ring with a few keys on it. It's like, you should go talk with her.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with all of this, but you clearly seem to be more in the know than I am, so he just cycles through the keys until he eventually finds one. Doorway opens.
Jojo goes up.
You reach the top of the stairs, and you hear something, some shuffling from the inside. There's a doorway, half open, with light poking through, faint torchlight as far as you can tell. And you're at about the halfway mark of the staircase when you hear some papers being put away, and some motion in the room. Jojo?
Yeah. She walks in.
You enter in and you see that like the whole room has been hastily cleaned. I don't like your friends. They pry too much. I take it back. I don't like them.
Yeah, they're nosy. Are you okay?
I'm fine. I don't think this has anything to do with magic, frankly. But you're all very insistent.
Is there a reason why that would be uncomfortable for you?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Whatever you say.
You should go back downstairs.
You're not gonna run off on me, are you?
No, not at all.
Did
I wish I was powerful enough that I could. Go ahead and roll insight.
Do you have advantage because it's her mom?
Yes.
No, that's not too bad.
Especially after that comment, I wish I was powerful enough that I could. Oh man, holy shit! Fuck you, mom. Oh man, I wish I was up there. Matilda would be so mad.
As you look at her, and she says these things, it seems like she's telling the truth. There is a bit of frustration in her voice. You know how long she's remained at first rank, and that's not something that... You know that's a point of contention, no matter how much she's been fighting it. And as she looks onwards towards everything you guys have shown up, you've accomplished a lot within a very short period of time, and showing up with just this entire mysterious circumstance. And she looks onward towards you, and at this point, as you glance at her, it seems like as she begins to talk about, they sent people ahead, and this mission, it's been so hard. I have to stay strong. But is it okay if I just give you a hug?
Mm-hmm.
She reaches forward. Roll a wisdom saving throw. As you take an embrace from you.
Of magic.
Mama.
Oh, I hate.
Saving throw?
Indeed.
Wisdom saving throw.
Separate character from in-game. Matilda.
Normal. Can you remind me once again what the choker does? The thing that
The
was
choker.
outside.
If you succeed a saving throw, you can make it seem as though you have failed to the person who cast it.
It's good for Zone of Truth.
Do we all have one inspiration?
Oh, I do. Yes. Thank you.
Just throwing it
Thank
out
you.
there.
I will use that.
Excellent.
Normal.
Ah.
To be fair, it's better.
I think. Oh, yeah. She can't see the tattoo, so she doesn't see the. Oh, it's just on the back of the hand always, right?
The inspiration mark, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, she might see that disappear.
As the small diamond that appears as a part of the ash bond that rests on the back of your palm flitters away, and fate itself begins to take its course. She looks onwards towards you, and your eyes just go gray, steely. You fall to your knees, and you fall to the ground, and as a faint bit of blood runs down your back, you feel puncture wounds like a porcupine's needles, you feel these faint crystals that just reach into your back long enough to inject something. And as your entire body goes limp and you hit the ground, staring forward, she turns, she grabs a small case, she throws it on her back, she leans down, she gives you a kiss on the forehead and says, "Sleep for a while, honey." And she turns and she just moves until eventually she pulls open a small scroll and you see her struggling for a brief moment. Her right hand, the crystal begins to glow faintly with that rainbow light, and she lets out a euphoric sigh as she finishes reading the incantation on the scroll and disappears in a golden light.
Wow.
The rest of you, it's maybe 10 minutes, and JoJo has not yet returned, but she needs some time to cool off.
Yeah. I would, after about 20 minutes or so, Vincent would just go check. It's like, because we're still in unknown territory.
You make your way towards the main little thoroughfare area, and Herod's standing there still, helping people. He's kind of just now leaning people up against the side of the wall and patting their back and just checking their wounds and dressing them. And as you kind of look around, he just gives you a nod towards the back room, and he approaches and he says, I think something's going on upstairs. They're,
Like an argument?
well, no, just that, they seemed to be aggressive with each other. I don't know if there is an argument going on, but I know personally, for me, that's awkward. So I don't know if you want to go up there, but I mean, if you do, just don't tell them I said anything.
Just let me check in.
I'm not going to stop you. Not that I think I could.
Also, sorry about before.
Yeah.
I felt some...
Oh, Matilda,
That's okay.
What the fuck?
Oh,
This-
sorry.
This is all very new to me, so I apologize for the way I acted. I don't know why you wanted all the food, but as long as we come to an agreement, that's not okay.
This is fine. I don't want any more food.
All right. I have heard that tieflings eat a lot of food, or that you need a lot of
Our
sustenance.
portions are a lot larger than yours. We do need a bit more to subside ourselves, but here, and I'll pass him a berry. Eat one of those. And he'll start walking up towards Jojo Worth.
Eats the berry and turns around and goes up towards the people and is just like, "What?" As you and Matilda begin to move up the stairs. Killian, do you remain downstairs, or are you with the group?
Yeah, Killian, after creating a mask for each person, was like getting ready to like pack up, which I imagine is why like Matilda left her alone, and then realized like, oh well, maybe we should make 2 more. I mean, you never know who we might run into, and then like just started like pulling things out again. So she's still down there and like continuing to create even more masks than is necessary, but yeah, she's a little obsessed.
If Vincent
Amazing.
mentioned like concern for like Jojo being like, oh, we should probably check because of stuff, Matilda's like, okay.
Just because we're in unknown territory.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
basically.
Well, Matilda's like
20 or
okay.
so minutes, I'm just checking in, and then... So as he gets closer, he's just going to send a mental message. I guess I need to see the individual. He'll send a normal message.
Yeah,
That's
Matilda would have come along because she's like, okay, learning how to be a friend. Need to go check on them when conflict happens.
I was going to leave them be. You can free to go in. And he'll just like wait at the bottom of the stairs. And
I'm following your lead. You seem to know more about this than I do.
What is your message?
Just checking in. Is everything okay?
The message you receive in your head, Jojo, you are conscious, though it's almost like you're shifting in and out of. As you look forward, you see just the world waving around you, as though you're looking through bent glass. And the message you receive from Vincent is just like, "Let's checking it. Are you okay?" Like it's refracted itself. Yeah.
Which can she tell it's Vincent?
It's odd, like a carnival ride, but yes, it is Vincent-esque in its demeanor.
Is she like able to form sounds?
As you think, they're slow, they're languid, but you can think normally.
Whisper or message requires her to whisper back. Physically.
Oh, can you speak? Physically, you cannot currently speak.
Okay, yeah.
As you go, you're just like,
Oh, I guess I hear that. Vincent just like he's like sitting against the wall, just like looking at his nails, and then he hears like in like the message, and he's just like, and he'll put his hand down and start like just abrupt turn and head up the stairs.
I follow.
He'll send a message over to Killian. I'm assuming we're not more than 120 feet apart in this building.
No.
Killian, there's trouble.
Okay, I'll be right there. She like just pulls all the things into her backpack, zips it up, and comes running up the stairs with her rifle.
And yeah, Vince will march up. Is there like a locked door in the way or anything?
Did you? Sorry, I may have missed something. Did you put the disguise back on?
Nope.
Okay, so a goblin runs through this Church of Saloon holding a gun. Okay, excellent. Panic ensues. The people on the inside of the room begin to freak out a bit, and Harold looks onward towards everything that's happening, and as you rush through, he did spot you in the basement before, and as you kind of like, he just saw you, he's like, I don't know what's going on, was his demeanor, and like, I'm just gonna leave you guys alone. As he left and now sees all of this, he's like, everybody, shit. Come here, and you guys rush across into the side. People see you, and they just stand up. One dude looks over towards you, and is just like, paying no attention, completely zonked out. And you guys make your way over. The doorway closes behind you, and you rush up the steps, where as you throw open the door, you see Jojo laying on the ground, just limp, staring in the opposite direction. You see in her back embedded are these little crystal spines that are once again formed of that almost similar glass that you had seen previously, Matilda.
Vincent's gonna mage hand and try and pull out the crystal thingies in her shoulder.
All of them
mage
come
hand turn her over.
She's
Matilda?
limp.
Coming. And I like I do healing light.
How many healing light do you use?
2.
You had not previously taken damage, Jojo, as this spell is cast in towards you. Like Matilda, you are used to this light, reacting like light does, which is you create a point of light and light cascades out. That holy light usually pours through. You see a feather fall down and just turn into like a single spaghetti strand as it warps in and out and falls and bends before it eventually lands on her body. The light itself is like bending at odd angles, and it's like you see it just shoot out like a solar flare, land on the desk over in the corner, and you're just like,
yes.
As everything around her begins to refract. But the spell goes off. Jojo, you feel those wounds close, so you took no damage. You are still kind of this just odd, distant, weird situation.
Gonna try to connect with her mentally, because like he can see her eyes are open and she's sort of like looking around, right?
Indeed.
Jojo, can you hear me? This is mentally.
Yeah, mentally I can respond.
Yes, it's just odd.
She's gone. Chase, get her.
Your mother. Your family's even more awkward than mine. At least right now. And Vince will turn. Apparently her mom did this to her. She left.
What?
Oh,
Does she know where she went?
She just said she left.
Am I still mentally connected?
Yeah, you can still talk. The connection doesn't end for 2 minutes.
Dimension door.
She dimension doored out of you.
Well, I can't follow her, and you're in
I hate that spell.
Why?
People keep using it.
No, not that. Why would your own mother stab you?
I'm assuming there's a complicated relationship here. My family isn't, super peachy as well. Also, Killian?
Yeah.
Your face.
Oh, that's why they were all looking at me. And she just like pulls the hat like down and like turns into her goblin or her gnome face.
Well,
Fine, we'll just tell them that they had a fever dream, and I'll just be a physician and lie to them about it. That there's like a thing with like fevers where everybody sees a similar delusion, whatever. Fuck.
You begin to hear the sound of people, like the panic previously that had been going on downstairs moves to, let us out! There are fucking monsters in here! As Pete's like, don't, everybody stop, just sit down, rest, you're all on drugs, stop it.
Okay.
As he's trying to hold people back, but you hear the panic beginning to overtake Herod downstairs.
Oh shit, I run down.
You make your way to the base.
I'll run down as well.
There's about 4 or 5 people that are still just like in bed staring off into nothing. But there's a good 10 to 12 people who are now trying to push past Herod to open the door, who is like barricading it. And as he sees you all, he says, little help!
Matilda strides forward and she says, enough! Physician, get back into your beds! You had a group delusion and a hallucination. It is a symptom that I've noticed has been happening. Sit down! There was nothing here!
They turn towards you and you see just aggression in their faces. This unnatural anger. They say, you're part of it, aren't you? You're bringing the monsters here. You're not going to keep us. You're not going to keep us from the inside. They turn and they just begin to kick the door aggressively, some of which are grabbing at Herod and attempting to pull him back.
Aaron, save one. Let the others go.
What?
Yes!
People are beginning to pull at him and pull on his clothing as he just like leans back. You see him like grab one dude, leg around the side, just military throw him to the corner of the ground, and just begins to hold down their chest as they're just beginning to actually gnash aggressively out. And as the rest of the people just slam open the door, one of which is just like moving forward, is just like, you pull these doors, idiot! Throws them open, and the rest of the people begin to leave. As Herod holds them down, someone walks by and just clocks the side of his head with the side of a bed frame, and then he just sits there. I'm gonna go ahead and roll to see if he remains conscious. He kind of wavers for a moment and then looks over. You see blood trickle down, and as the guy's just like throws the frame away and rushes out the door, a large group of people flee this church. At the slightest provocation, they seem to have just exploded into this strange kind of atmosphere about them.
Killian, tie that other one up. We'll set them loose and follow them after, but we can't leave without Jojo.
At this point, Jojo, the movement of your fingertips has returned to you, and you kind of are able to make a fist.
Vincent's noticing this.
The Arthur fist.
I think given time, it'll wear off.
Mine. It's going to the mine.
I'm assuming whatever's influencing the people is also influencing another. Let's go get this dealt with. Killing, I think, finish the masks. And mentally, Carson.
At your service, as he appears in shadow beside you.
You can't. What's your distance you can travel from me?
Oh, I don't know. I can test that now. And he just begins to move. Not very far, it seems. We're somewhat tethered.
Go send a message to Killian and the others. Tell them we'll be down in a bit. Jojo's regaining her ability to move.
He kind of like just offers a salute. Mechanically speaking, Carson, as your assistant within your own body, can help you recall information that you already know. He can help you cast spells that you already are capable of casting. But he doesn't really offer any mechanical benefits so much as he is capable of doing these pesky little things for you, so you don't have to. But you can literally, like, you still need to be like, here's a copper wire, friend. Do this. Like, he still requires all the components. So at this point, you just see a copper wire slip out of your lapel. And do you subtle cast this?
No.
Okay,
No reason
then.
to.
Yeah, that's true. Well, there's one person on the ground. There's no... Yeah. The spell is cast, and Carson just, in an instant, appears before you, Killian, and establishes a connection and says, Master, do you like me to say anything specifically?
He already gave him the message.
Killian,
Did he not remember it?
upstairs, please. We need you.
Okay, who are you?
My name's Carson. Pleasure to meet you. Master, I cast the spell twice. Is that acceptable?
We'll work on this. It's fine. As he's like bending over Jojo. He's trying to like move her arm more to see if it helps to speed up the recovery using Mage Hand.
Over the course of the next 10 minutes or so, Jojo, and with this constant just blood flow, you regain the use of your body as your eyes finally kind of return in a brief moment, and you feel the wounds on your back already closed. You bring yourself up.
Jojo's just like there and like shaking in anger. She's like looks up at Vincent. Can you ground your parents? I'm gonna ground my mom. Let's go.
You could do many things to many people, dear. You can simply just tie her up and put her in a room later. Come on, let's go.
I push through the door at that point. What do you need?
Killian, help me. She's almost good to go, but she's still a little wobbly. Let's help her
Okay.
downstairs. We're gonna need to leave soon. That commotion down there was really loud.
We should go
Yeah.
invisible.
Okay. I guess just like lifting one of her arms above my head.
As you guys begin to make your way out towards the exit of the church itself, the people who have flooded out are now beginning to cause a panic to the south. You can hear that there are people kind of just freaking out. Some have circled around, and on the left side of the city, you can hear the sound of armored people moving about as this just panic of aggressiveness has begun to set in. But to the east of the city, it seems relatively clear.
I'm gonna send a message, or just talk in Herod's hand if he's down there. You look like shit. Get out of here.
Okay, I have to help them.
We're currently working on that. Get out of here before you wind up unconscious on the ground, dear.
Jojo's going to hand him a medal of meat pie. Oh wait, does that just do temporary hit points? I think it might. Let me just double check what that does.
I was gonna just give him
It
the camera.
uses
Okay.
it.
Yeah. You
It's a
yeah,
one-time use.
someone else heal him. I grip the medal of meat pie and gain 2d4 plus 2 temporary hit
Chili Man,
points.
is that a spell of yours?
It is a spell, yes.
And Matilda would like put your hand up and shake her head, and she'll do it.
Okay.
Yeah, you need to save those. Come here.
Diaz, I feel like this would suffice. And he'll hand him a good berry.
He takes the good berry. Having eaten the previous one, he takes the good berry and he's just like, immediately eats it. And you see the faint bit of that wound close on the side of his head. And he stands up and he's like, I feel 100% better already from the 1 hit point recovery.
Which he probably has 2 of, so there's no point in wasting our magic.
He stands up and he looks towards you all and says, I don't know what kind of divine intervention brought you here, but praise Ilmater. And he turns and he just begins to make his way outside of the church.
Before we go, Matilda asks, like, what's your daughter's name? What does she look like? Quick, before we leave.
Her name is Velia.
Julia? Okay.
She's a young girl, brown hair, brown eyes.
Okay.
Thank you. He turns and he begins to make his way.
Sorry about the people.
Forgive me with your actions. Then he rushes off. Or
Can we set
apologize with your actions.
Can we set loose the one we tied up and follow them?
They're fucking tied up. That was a 24. They are, like, if you guys want to, there's a little bow, you can tug on that, and they're completely freed. But other than that, they are locked for eternity.
We should get some invisibility going so we can follow
Okay.
them without issue. Who's doing what on whom?
I can cast it on myself.
I can cast it on myself.
I
Matilda?
can cast it on myself.
But I've been able to get a short rest.
I think
It
you can-
hasn't, I don't think it's been an hour in this time.
You can use your wand's bonus spell slot.
The little rings or whatever.
No, she has a wand that gives her a recharge of one of her warlock spells.
Or the Rod of the Pact Keeper.
Yes.
Yeah, I will do that then. I will cast invisibility.
You hold on to the rod, and you feel just like this energy tear through your body as the pact slot returns to you. And then you immediately wave the wand, or the rod, and just this invisibility
I think I can cast it on
enshrouds you.
Killian too.
I think you get
Killian's
8 creatures.
Well, I was just gonna say, but the warlocks always cast at max rank. So if you have access to level 3,
Oh, you can put it on 2 people so
you
someone
can put
can
it on
save
2
them.
people.
Oh.
Yeah.
Vincent
Yeah.
would like to keep his hex up if possible.
Okay.
Okay.
Then you do.
Useful
I
later
thought
on.
invisibility
Vincent.
wasn't concentration.
It is.
It is.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I don't know why I thought you got 8 creatures. Going crazy here.
So Matilda
So
will do me and her, and then Killian will do herself, Jojo do herself. Cool.
May I ask, are we within 500 feet of all of the mine entrances?
within 500 feet. Let me give that a good check.
Of the description of the mine entrance.
That is 10 minutes of travel.
Yeah, everything's in minutes.
So if you are traveling at a normal pace of 30 feet, 300 feet is 1 minute of travel. So you guys are like close to like several thousand feet.
Okay, so she would not have been able to go straight to any mine entrance.
No.
Killian, in your head, you hear. Do you have the masks? I know we can't see you, but hand them out.
Yeah.
Put them against the door in this area.
I just like drop them on the ground.
Okay.
Let's
You
imagine
see them
someone in
float up and
Minecraft
then
throwing.
disappear.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
From your chest, they just erupt.
I have another question too. Where these people that have been released in en masse, which entrance does it seem like they're all heading to?
So they basically have moved out in a cone. Let me go ahead and do a little drawing here for you guys. This seems to be the general area of madness that is currently happening.
Okay,
Yeah,
but they're
I
not
think-
heading towards
This one?
seems
the
like-
entrance?
It seems like they're heading towards this entrance, as best as you
Okay.
can surmise.
Yeah.
Do we want to go and then try and get past through the chaos, or do we want to go to the other one, which would probably send support to the other gate?
I would say chaos is the smartest way to go.
We can slip through pretty easy since we're invisible, probably.
Okay.
Okay, great. Let's do that.
All I picture is us untying it. We just like let the guy go.
Here's what I will say. You guys go ahead and just roll a dexterity saving throw. Because as you begin to rush out through the city, and Matilda, knowing the best way to traverse small cities like this, passing through the back alleyways. Ooh, very good.
Can I guide myself?
It's a saving throw. It doesn't affect that.
Ah!
It's like, isn't guidance concentration, so you drop.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah.
I'd be careful with that.
You guys are running, you're like, we're gonna get there great through invisibility, and you just all turn visible.
No, tell them would know better. I forget
Yeah.
which one's their concentration because I'm silly.
Yeah, I just like that. It's very funny to me. And as you... Who else is concentrating?
I am concentrating on Hex.
Billion on invisibility.
Technically, everyone
Perfect.
is.
Yeah.
Jojo, what are you concentrating on?
Visibility
You cast invisibility?
Yeah.
through the ringlets of the veil.
Right. Okay. And then Killian... Gotcha. Awesome. So you are all running, and as you reach the chaos, there's just barely any place to pass through. You can see that there's like 10 people, and equivalently 5 to 6 Lyrian order, and 5 or 6 of these different guards, and they're just beginning to like bring them down to the ground, and they're just like, let us through! We've waited this long! We're going in!
Vincent casts Gust to knock them aside.
As you guys move through and you manage to find this like small area in which to reach yourself, the guards
Oh.
begin to rush. You woof, this faint just woof, burst of
That would
wind pushes
drop
some people off.
invisibility on you.
Oh, it would? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, because I guess it's affecting another. But it says. Oh, yeah,
If you
because
cast any spell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
But it is a hostile spell. Yeah.
That's fine, because as you guys begin to rush through, you like Carson's running past you for you in plain sight, but nobody else seems to be noticing his presence, and he's just jogging blissfully, like looking at everyone, reaches down and just pats someone on the head twice as he continues. You guys manage to siphon through with this just dexterous movement. Matilda, a guard runs up and almost like barrels you down, and Killian reaches back and just pulls you aside as your foot like just barely manages to scrape past them. And as these people are being apprehended in the corner, you guys slip through the inner gate, which has been opened in this commotion. And as it slowly begins to close, you manage to duck underneath in time for it to completely shut. And you find yourself now surrounded by completely different masonry. These fine stone homes that have just been carved out of the ground itself in various different forms. And there's like 10 doors to a single house in these cramped little spaces. Looking onward, you begin to see the flames of those forges with that phosphorescent color, that just glimmering flame coming out from the center of the forges in the
person
city.
We were following make it through?
Who are you following? What?
So Matilda specifically tied up that individual and then let him go so we could follow him.
The individual? Oh no, God no! He did not succeed. As you guys are running through, immediately as soon as the guy gets to the point where there's guards actively attacking, he was fucking downed. There is no feasible means of success for that person.
Any of them make it through in that chaos?
No, the guards seem to have had this covered.
I have
An Area 51 scenario.
So, not to fuck myself, but Killian would not have seen me because we're invisible, so she would not have known to move me because we can't see each other.
That's true. That was a means of my
Okay,
roleplay,
cool.
but your guys'
Okay,
roles
cool.
did succeed. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I just wanted
Yeah.
to yeah,
Her deft hearing heard your little footsteps.
yeah.
What do your
guys think-
goblin ears hear?
Would it be better to try and slip past Zarek or go to the entrance that isn't guarded?
I don't think we have to deal with guards even if they're standing there. Let's just head the shortest way.
Okay.
Which mines are we going to? 1, 2, or 3?
I guess it's 2, right?
One is on the right. So mine 1 is in this entrance right next to the Stormforge office. Mine 2 is over here. It's a much larger area, so they haven't heavily policed it. So there's like open mine on the left, mine 2, or guarded mine on the right, mine 1. And Zarek should be there as far as you're aware of.
Guarded mine.
It's more likely to have what we're looking for, right?
Okay, we'll go to mine 1, the smaller one.
As you guys are traversing through the city, you begin to see dwarven workers.
We're still gonna Vincent. Everyone's head is still gonna say we should still try to be somewhat stealthy, just in case someone could see our invisibility, because the imp did. Go
Yeah.
missing.
I definitely don't trust that Zarek. I don't trust that he won't be able to see through our invisibility.
As you guys begin to approach this corner, you find yourselves underneath the slope of the mountain itself as the city begins to be carved out of the solid stone of the mountain as opposed to the stone of the ground underneath. And in the distance, you can hear some people mumbling about there was a slight disturbance on the southern side of the city, but it's being handled, don't worry. And he's like, yeah, they've been somewhat aggressive of late. And you can see Zarek standing there, that fine axe on his back, which he basically prominently displays almost as like a threat. Even just witnessing the axe, it is a little bit foreboding. It's a little freaky to you guys.
That on one side it's like an axe with a pick, and then on the other side it has a hammer. So it's like
I'd actually had those mixed up. It is a hammer with a pick, and then on the base
Okay.
it's this vicious looking axe. So it's a two-sided axe weapon.
It's a warhammer and a great axe at the same time.
And
That's sort of
a war
incredible.
pick.
I want that weapon.
As he's standing at the corner with 2 additional guards, you guys begin to move. Go ahead and roll a group stealth check for me.
Oh my God,
ninja roll.
Ninja.
Oh, I hope I steal his weapon. I want it so bad.
We don't
Shin-
have advantage just for being invisible, right?
No.
I giggled myself when we say I like the word
Yes.
ninja, but I prefer the word
Yes.
shinyobi better.
Invisibility doesn't give us advantage.
Yeah.
It does not give you advantage. It just makes you impossible to see without magical aid. But you can still make noise.
Sorry.
And you leave footprints and like snow lands on you and stuff.
Oh yeah. Well done.
I like to pretend like I can see what the question mark is. You're like, nice,
Real
good
hard.
roll.
Sweet.
I was I was looking, where's my invisibility scar? And I'm like, oh wait, that doesn't exist.
Killian's token is actually so invisible I could barely see it. I was like, where's Killian?
Why is Killian more invisible than I am?
I'm just more.
She's tiny.
No way. Aw.
I've given you guys like token sizes, yeah.
Mhm.
Moving through. The vast majority of you moving stealthily. Jojo, you find yourselves surrounded. There's these like mine
I
carts
will
that have been
put
toppled
X on
off to the
him.
side.
As he comes into view.
That's a spell.
No,
Uh,
well, so it's
No,
already
this one.
cast?
Yeah, it's a bonus
I'm
action to
looking.
move it. Yeah.
Cool. I'm just trying
They-
to remember. I'm like, don't go uninvisible.
No, I knew it. I'm not casting
Okay,
a spell.
cool.
I'm just moving it.
As they look onwards, the people distracted by all of this, the 2 guards kind of return to their station. They just begin to speak amongst each other. You see further to your left, there is a rounded staircase that leads up to a large stone building that you have been told by Jojo's mother is the Stormforge office. You looking up there with your guys' passive perceptions, Vincent specifically, you take note that there's 2 guards that are standing guard at the front, head slumped, eyes covered, and as you glance past it, you see a little bit of like wood poking out of the bottom of their shirt. And you can see that these 2 guards are being held up by wooden stakes, as though
Okay.
to look as though they are still on guard at the Girder Stormforge office. And looking onward, Zarek and the other 2 guards are just sitting there, just chatting, shooting the shit, just like, as he's like, yeah, I heard you got that little thing. Aye, it's a little fucking flying rat it is. It's gonna be a good pet from now on, I think. He's like, have you been feeding it? He's like, I don't know what that thing eats. And they've just been like looking onwards
Is
towards
there any
just
discussion of where they put it?
not a
No, it's
current.
low.
Yeah, without a doubt at this point.
In the dude's in the dude's head, to kind of sound like it's out loud, like it was the other dude talking. Can Vincent try to be like, "Where'd you put it?"
Roll deception. That's good. Let me roll insight. Has he heard your voice before? I don't think he's heard you speak, so he
None of
has
these
disadvantage on this roll. Okay, so that natural 20 is brought down to a 3. As you say that, and a very, very convincing mimicry, he's just like, I'm just keeping it up in the office. It's not going to be very difficult. But, you don't want to go down that far. You might get the lung. The guy's like, okay. Thank you for your concern. Like in confusion because he just responded to nothing.
Maybe he was just giving some extra information. You don't know.
But as he sits back and he's like, I may as well go fuck with the little guy. Never mind. He's like, can I do it? I haven't never seen like a demon before. Yeah, that's fine. Here, hands him a particularly large rock. He's like, he doesn't seem to like it when you hit the cage. And then the guy turns and begins to move into the mine.
Oh, into the mine. Nice. Let's follow him.
Yeah, he meant the office in the mine, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll follow along. I'm either Mo fucked up, or he saw through the invisibility, so I'm still wary. But we'll see. See if we can get past this dude.
It's almost as though your greedy little imp who like takes little things for himself from every mission we ever go on maybe touched some of the dust or a little glass bauble and was like,
Oh.
Greedy.
Could Vincent, if Vincent ties something to the end of an arrow and shoots it, it's not going to break invisibility because he's not casting a spell or hurting anyone.
If you shoot an arrow, it's a ranged attack roll.
Yeah, I know, but invincibility only drops if you hurt someone or if you cast a spell. Shooting an arrow in a random direction and not hurting anyone, I don't think would justify it breaking.
No, it says a spell ends for a target that attacks or casts a spell. So making a ranged attack roll with an arrow would end the spell.
Could I throw it then and not
That'd be
use it as attack? Like,
No,
basically I'm trying to. I was gonna tie a bell to it and just like huck it in a direction to do like a distraction. So like.
I'm gonna
that way.
I'm gonna say I think that's fine to attempt to do a distraction. Technically, like that would be an improvised attack roll, right? But I think it's intention. So like attempting to hurt a creature with an attack roll. So for sure, I would say going forward, you can shoot an arrow off into nothing.
Cool. And so we'll gingerly tie a bell to it, and as everyone's ready to like on the queue to go into the mine, to distract the big dude, because he's already hexed, so his wisdom's low anyway for his perception. He's going to shoot an arrow in the opposite direction of where he would run in quickly, and it's gonna have a little bell on it.
You tie this. You aim. You launch. As you let go, you hear a voice above. The arrow, boom, ding, 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 lands off to the side. The two who remain immediately pay attention to the location. You see Zarik grab that massive weapon and just flip it around in his hand, holding it in one arm as he begins to move forward towards the sound. And he snaps his fingers. The eyes flare out. You guys go ahead and roll dexterity to see if you can get past it.
Would we have advantage in any sense because of the distraction?
Yes. He's currently not looking in your guys' direction.
Saving throw or check?
This will be just a dexterity ability check.
Oh shit, sorry.
You can use
It's the same
athletics
thing
or
for-
acrobatics as well.
Oh, athletics or acrobatics?
Yes.
I would way rather use athletics.
I'll use
Feel free, because this is
Could I
a
use the same
full-on
dice and just different components?
That'd be a
Yep,
plus
absolutely.
3. So I rolled dex anyway, so.
That's a 12 plus 7. So, 19.
If it-
Mm.
fantastic
with
group of
advantage.
rolls.
Okay.
You
There we
guys
go. 22.
choosing to ignore the strange puppets of guards that are being purposefully made seem like they are still alive over at the top of the Girder Stormforge office. You guys rush around Zarik, making it out of his line of sight as he snaps his fingers. You see this almost like a flame pass across his face, and then his eyes burn like embers as he begins to stare forward, and he just begins to take long striding steps, the ground cracking underneath his feet. And as you circle around, the one guard's just like, I fucking love it when he does that. God. And just begins to move after as you guys circle through and make it towards the entrance to the cavern. In the distance, you can still see that one guy who's beginning to move through holding the big rock, and he's kind of just like trudging with it. It's heavy as shit. But as he's moving in, he seems to know the pathway. And as you guys invisible begin to move, you can see him purposefully taking like pathways along this these serpentine mines. And you see dwarven workers for among the first time. And they're sitting, but once again, despite just bulging with muscle, struggling to even maintain the weight of their pickaxes and looking onwards, their eyes just glassed like nothing. Turns, one just sneezes and coughs out loud, and you can see that faint bit of glimmer just move down from the face as they wipe it off of their beards. And looking down, the one thing that kind of drives them out of the stupor is that they're just like, their beard is messy. They're just like, no. And then they gain their energy back to slam that pick into the wall. And you just see this aggression everywhere. But as you guys move in and past that one person, now moving at a pace that is uncomfortably slow for you, throws the rock down and grabs the smaller one. It's like, fuck you, Zariki, and just begins to move in. As you all begin to follow this individual, light, this brilliant, blinding pink light begins to reach the outer edge, and this guy reaches over to the corner and just grabs a piece of cloth and throws it in his mouth, as though that filter would have been enough for Rowena. He throws it over his own face and begins to move confidently into the mine. And as he does so, you hear... And prancing around the corner, you see a hand that almost seems to be formed of this kind of just like viscous, thick, white slime reaches around and comes. You see the top of a mushroom cap head coated in glimmering crystals bound its head around the corner and look towards him. And he just raises the thing. It's just like, fuck off, you freak. Just begins to move in as the creature just like turns its head and slowly begins to move in a different direction.
It's so cute.
And as you guys pass by, it's shedding this luminous pink light. The ground around you begins to turn softer. The air begins to shimmer with this rainbow mist. And the further in you go...
Does it seem like the mushrooms might be producing this mist, like the spores from it?
Roll nature.
How does this feel to JoJo? Like tapping into like her chaos magic, like her raw
JoJo,
magic?
it feels good. Feels very good.
Ooh.
I rolled a 4, so it's fine. I don't know anything.
With a 4, looking at these creatures, you're not sure if they're feeding off of it, if they're producing it.
There you go.
And as you are all continually moving in, that individual who's just like, fuck off, you freak, and is moving like, fuck you, Zarik, gets in towards the interior of the mine and just begins to move with a spring in his step. And this kind of just ethereal happiness as he begins to make his way, and grabbing that rock, tink, 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 hits the outer edge of a small door and is like, let me in. As the doorway opens, the people with like thicker masks look at him and they're just like, this guy like strides forward and is like, I'm gonna fuck with Demon. This is like moving in with like a song on his lips.
Behind him still?
Yeah.
Indeed.
Okay.
As basically there is one small doorway before you now. Someone has let him in and the doorway goes to close. One of you might be able to make it through in this time. But on the inside now, this guard who has let that individual through is not sitting there to hold the door open for 15, 20 seconds. What do you guys do?
Does that doorway feel like it's deeper in towards where the magic is coming from, or no?
It seems deeper in, yes. But you find yourselves there, you're in a stone pathway on the interior of a mine, like wooden supports around you, and in front of you there is a wooden door that has just been inset to block progress. And as that person opened it, checked, let him through, has begun to close the door.
Like JoJo's gonna try and jump through. Just...
You run through as best you can. Go ahead and roll athletics. You manage to suck it in, slide through the doorway, and as it closes, it doesn't lock. You just hear like this little wooden blockade comes down and insets. And as you stand in the area, using your previous stealth checks for this entire kind of duration of this stealing into the mine, the person just kind of looks your way, looks at the ground and sees like some dust settle off, and is just like shores up his mask, turns around and begins to go back. But as you glance around, You see before you this just brilliant display. Luminescent dwarves. These guards that are all wearing the same tabard now of this Lyrian order that you can see has been inset with crossed blades. Kind of just holding up luminescent torches that also flicker with rainbow light. There's these mushroom-like creatures that are standing, and these tiny little sporelets that are little baby versions of them that are all but crystal with these little arms that are attempting to move around. One of them turns its attention towards where you are and cocks its head to the side. As the rest turn their attention towards you, what do you do?
I think that Jojo, they all look towards her.
There's about 4 of them in this room, 2 adults and 2 young.
I think she confidently stands in front of them, and is magic awareness isn't a spell. It would not break invisibility, right?
No, it's a class feature.
I think she's going to snap and with like the wild magic wish across her face, sort of like feel like I'm one of you, I guess. It's sort of what she's going for.
Roll an intelligence-based deception check.
You told me how to do this before, right, Bianca?
Yeah, so see how it says where you're doing deception?
Yeah, intelligence-based deception. Oh, I see it.
Yeah, so you just click the charisma and you switch it to int.
Normal.
Click roll and then switch it back. That didn't add it.
It did not add it, but my intelligence is... Hang on, my intelligence would be a plus 2. So
14. The creatures look towards you, and that luminescent color that seems to be set inside them begins to strobe. And as the color passes from the top of their head to the bottom, that they reach hands up and just unroot themselves from the ground as they look towards you, and then just the stalk of their body splits into this wide mouth as it opens, and you see these just like small puncture-like teeth arrive in rows from the front to the back, and those colors that wave through them turn from this brilliant rainbow to just a solid pink. An oppressive pink. And as they look towards you, they stand and they just begin to take slow steps in your direction. The doorway behind you still locked, but the guy all of the rest of the people looking towards this are just like, what the fuck is going on? And as the guards begin to move in, the dwarves ignoring it, focusing on chipping away at the crystals on the walls. What do you do?
They start to walk towards her like rah, rah.
Indeed.
Jojo squares up and I know if I go out loud she's gonna break, like people are gonna know that she's here. I sort of she's just gonna be like ah and like yell at them and intimidate them.
As your party members, still locked behind the door behind you, are mildly confused. They hear your roar and as you all prepare to roll initiative, you let out this cry, and the surprise of the people around you, they all grab their weapons. You see the dwarves just like, protect, 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 as they turn their attention towards the doorway where this sound came from. And as those creatures let out a oppressive pink light once more of aggression and turn their attention towards you. That's where we will pick up next time.
Ooh.
Welcome to the mines.
These mushrooms got teeth.
That is all for this week. Thank you all so much for watching. And until next time at the Dragonleaf. Bye, everybody.
Everybody.
Bye.
Yeah.